32-year-old left-back, and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham, they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while it is said that a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Moving on to cricket now, and Lancashire skipper James Anderson took 4 for 18 as he helped his side defy the odds and defeat Derbyshire by 29 runs on a dramatic last day of the county championship match at the Emirates Old Trafford. Having bowled out Lancashire for 160 in their second innings, Ben Aitchison taking 3 for 38, Derbyshire needed only 138 to record their first victory on this ground since 1996. But Lancashire's four-man seam attack had other ideas, and despite skipper Harry Kane's 30, the visitors lost their last 9 wickets for 75 runs, with Anderson taking 4 for 7 in his 4.5 over second spell. Lancashire, they take 21 points from the game to Derbyshire's 6. Rugby League now, and outgoing Hull FC head coach John Cartwright says he has not been given a reason for why they have opted to part ways with him at the end of the season. The Black and Whites announced last week that they would not be renewing the 60-year-old Australian's contract. Cartwright took over on a 2-year deal after the 2024 season, when the team won just 3 of 27 matches and led them to 7th in 2025. However, when asked why he was leaving the club, Cartwright said it wasn't mutual, put it that way. I still haven't been given a reason. And finally in tennis, and Britain's Jack Draper was forced to retire in the third set of his first-round match against Thomas Martin Etcheverry at the Barcelona Open because of a knee injury. Draper won the first set against the Argentine 6-3, but he began to have difficulty with his movement and lost the second 6-3. The 24-year-old received attention from a physio and had tape applied to an area below his right knee shortly before the deciding set started. Draper's serve was broken twice by Etcheverry in the third, and after struggling to get around the court, he conceded the contest at 4-1 down. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Tottenham have received a blow as their captain Cristian Romero is set to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury that he sustained in their 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. The Argentine looked visibly upset as he limped off following a collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski in the Premier League fixture at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. It raised concerns that he may have incurred an injury serious enough to rule him out of Spurs' final 6 games as they battle to avoid relegation. Following tests, Romero is now expected to miss up to 8 weeks with a high-grade partial tear of his medial cruciate ligament. His chances of being part of Argentina's squad for this summer's World Cup are also left hanging in the balance. Sticking with football, and at Tottenham are said to be in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. Robertson confirmed last week that he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long interest in the 32-year-old left-back, and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham, they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while it is said that a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Moving on to cricket now, and Lancashire skipper James Anderson took 4 for 18 as he helped his side defy the odds and defeat Derbyshire by 29 runs on a dramatic last day of the county championship match at the Emirates Old Trafford. Having bowled out Lancashire for 160 in their second innings, Ben Aitchison taking 3 for 38, Derbyshire needed only 138 to record their first victory on this ground since 1996. But Lancashire's four-man seam attack had other ideas, and despite skipper Harry Kane's 30, the visitors lost their last 9 wickets for 75 runs, with Anderson taking 4 for 7 in his 4.5 over second spell. Lancashire, they take 21 points from the game to Derbyshire's 6. Rugby League now, and outgoing Hull FC head coach John Cartwright says he has not been given a reason for why they have opted to part ways with him at the end of the season. The Black and Whites announced last week that they would not be renewing the 60-year-old Australian's contract. Cartwright took over on a 2-year deal after the 2024 season, when the team won just 3 of 27 matches and led them to 7th in 2025. However, when asked why he was leaving the club, Cartwright said it wasn't mutual, put it that way. I still haven't been given a reason. And finally in tennis, and Britain's Jack Draper was forced to retire in the third set of his first-round match against Thomas Martin Etcheverry at the Barcelona Open because of a knee injury. Draper won the first set against the Argentine 6-3, but he began to have difficulty with his movement and lost the second 6-3. The 24-year-old received attention from a physio and had tape applied to an area below his right knee shortly before the deciding set started. Draper's serve was broken twice by Etcheverry in the third, and after struggling to get around the court, he conceded the contest at 4-1 down. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Tottenham have received a blow as their captain Cristian Romero is set to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury that he sustained in their 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. The Argentine looked visibly upset as he limped off following a collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski in the Premier League fixture at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. It raised concerns that he may have incurred an injury serious enough to rule him out of Spurs' final 6 games as they battle to avoid relegation. Following tests, Romero is now expected to miss up to 8 weeks with a high-grade partial tear of his medial cruciate ligament. His chances of being part of Argentina's squad for this summer's World Cup are also left hanging in the balance. Sticking with football, and Tottenham are said to be in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. Robertson confirmed last week that he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long interest in the 32-year-old left-back and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham will they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while it is said that a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Moving on to cricket now, and Lancashire skipper James Anderson took 4 for 18 as he helped his side defy the odds and defeat Derbyshire by 29 runs on a dramatic last day of the county championship match at the Emirates Old Trafford. Having bowled out Lancashire for 160 in their second innings, Ben Aitchison taking 3 for 38, Derbyshire needed only 138 to record their first victory on this ground since 1996. But Lancashire's four-man seam attack had other ideas, and despite skipper Harry Kane's 30, the visitors lost their last 9 wickets for 75 runs, with Anderson taking 4 for 7 in his 4.5 over second spell. Lancashire, they take 21 points from the game to Derbyshire's 6. Rugby League now, and outgoing Hull FC head coach John Cartwright says he has not been given a reason for why they have opted to part ways with him at the end of the season. The Black and Whites announced last week that they would not be renewing the 60-year-old Australian's contract. Cartwright took over on a 2-year deal after the 2024 season, when the team won just 3 of 27 matches and led them to 7th in 2025. However, when asked why he was leaving the club, Cartwright said, "It wasn't mutual, put it that way. I still haven't been given a reason." And finally in tennis, and Britain's Jack Draper was forced to retire in the 3rd set of his first round match against Thomas Martin Etcheverry at the Barcelona Open because of a knee injury. Draper won the first set against the Argentine 6-3, but he began to have difficulty with his movement and lost the second 6-3. The 24-year-old received attention from a physio and had tape applied to an area below his right knee shortly before the deciding set started. Draper's serve was broken twice by Etcheverry in the 3rd, and after struggling to get around the court, he conceded the contest at 4-1 down. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Tottenham have received a blow as their captain Cristian Romero is set to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury that he sustained in their 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. The Argentine looked visibly upset as he limped off following a collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski in the Premier League fixture at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. It raised concerns that he may have incurred an injury serious enough to rule him out of Spurs' final 6 games as they battle to avoid relegation. Following tests, Romero is now expected to miss up to 8 weeks with a high-grade partial tear of his medial cruciate ligament. His chances of being part of Argentina's squad for this summer's World Cup are also left hanging in the balance. Sticking with football, and Tottenham are said to be in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. Robertson confirmed last week that he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long interest in the 32-year-old left-back and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham will they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while it is said that a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Moving on to cricket now, and Lancashire skipper James Anderson took 4 for 18 as he helped his side defy the odds and defeat Derbyshire by 29 runs on a dramatic last day of the county championship match at the Emirates Old Trafford. Having bowled out Lancashire for 160 in their second innings, Ben Aitchison taking 3 for 38, Derbyshire needed only 138 to record their first victory on this ground since 1996. But Lancashire's four-man seam attack had other ideas, and despite skipper Harry Kane's 30, the visitors lost their last 9 wickets for 75 runs, with Anderson taking 4 for 7 in his 4.5 over second spell. Lancashire, they take 21 points from the game to Derbyshire's 6. Rugby League now, and outgoing Hull FC head coach John Cartwright says he has not been given a reason for why they have opted to part ways with him at the end of the season. The Black and Whites announced last week that they would not be renewing the 60-year-old Australian's contract. Cartwright took over on a 2-year deal after the 2024 season, when the team won just 3 of 27 matches and led them to 7th in 2025. However, when asked why he was leaving the club, Cartwright said it wasn't mutual, put it that way. I still haven't been given a reason. And finally in tennis, and Britain's Jack Draper was forced to retire in the third set of his first round match against Thomas Martin Etcheverry at the Barcelona Open because of a knee injury. Draper won the first set against the Argentine 6-3, but he began to have difficulty with his movement and lost the second 6-3. The 24-year-old received attention from a physio and had tape applied to an area below his right knee shortly before the deciding set started. Draper's serve was broken twice by Etcheverry in the third, and after struggling to get around the court, he conceded the contest at 4-1 down. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Tottenham have received a blow as their captain Cristian Romero is set to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury that he sustained in their 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. The Argentine looked visibly upset as he limped off following a collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski in the Premier League fixture at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. It raised concerns that he may have incurred an injury serious enough to rule him out of Spurs' final 6 games as they battle to avoid relegation. Following tests, Romero is now expected to miss up to 8 weeks with a high-grade partial tear of his medial cruciate ligament. His chances of being part of Argentina's squad for this summer's World Cup are also left hanging in the balance. Sticking with football, and Tottenham are said to be in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. Robertson confirmed last week that he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long interest in the 32-year-old left-back, and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham will they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while it is said that a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Moving on to cricket now, and Lancashire skipper James Anderson took 4 for 18 as he helped his side defy the odds and defeat Derbyshire by 29 runs on a dramatic last day of the county championship match at the Emirates Old Trafford. Having bowled out Lancashire for 160 in their second innings, Ben Aitchison taking 3 for 38, Derbyshire needed only 138 to record their first victory on this ground since 1996. But Lancashire's 4-man seam attack had other ideas, and despite skipper Harry Kame's 30, the visitors lost their last 9 wickets for 75 runs, with Anderson taking 4 for 7 in his 4.5 over second spell. Lancashire, they take 21 points from the game to Derbyshire's 6. Rugby League now, and outgoing Hull FC head coach John Cartwright says he has not been given a reason for why they have opted to part ways with him at the end of the season. The Black and Whites announced last week that they would not be renewing the 60-year-old Australian's contract. Cartwright took over on a 2-year deal after the 2024 season, when the team won just 3 of 27 matches and led them to 7th in 2025. However, when asked why he was leaving the club, Cartwright said it wasn't mutual, put it that way. I still haven't been given a reason. And finally in tennis, and Britain's Jack Draper was forced to retire in the third set of his first round match against Thomas Martin Etcheverry at the Barcelona Open because of a knee injury. Draper won the first set against the Argentine 6-3, but he began to have difficulty with his movement and lost the second 6-3. The 24-year-old received attention from a physio and had tape applied to an area below his right knee shortly before the deciding set started. Draper's serve was broken twice by Etcheverry in the third, and after struggling to get around the court, he conceded the contest at 4-1 down. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Tottenham have received a blow as their captain Cristian Romero is set to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury that he sustained in their 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. The Argentine looked visibly upset as he limped off following a collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski in the Premier League fixture at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. It raised concerns that he may have incurred an injury serious enough to rule him out of Spurs' final 6 games as they battle to avoid relegation. Following tests, Romero is now expected to miss up to 8 weeks with a high-grade partial tear of his medial cruciate ligament. His chances of being part of Argentina's squad for this summer's World Cup are also left hanging in the balance. Sticking with football, and Tottenham are said to be in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. Robertson confirmed last week that he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long interest in the 32-year-old left-back and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham will they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while it is said that a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Moving on to cricket now, and Lancashire skipper James Anderson took 4 for 18 as he helped his side defy the odds and defeat Derbyshire by 29 runs on a dramatic last day of the county championship match at the Emirates Old Trafford. Having bowled out Lancashire for 160 in their second innings, Ben Aitchison taking 3 for 38, Derbyshire needed only 138 to record their first victory on this ground since 1996. But Lancashire's four-man seam attack had other ideas, and despite skipper Harry Kane's 30, the visitors lost their last 9 wickets for 75 runs, with Anderson taking 4 for 7 in his 4.5 over second spell. Lancashire, they take 21 points from the game to Derbyshire's 6. Rugby League now, and outgoing Hull FC head coach John Cartwright says he has not been given a reason for why they have opted to part ways with him at the end of the season. The Black and Whites announced last week that they would not be renewing the 60-year-old Australian's contract. Cartwright took over on a 2-year deal after the 2024 season, when the team won just 3 of 27 matches and led them to 7th in 2025. However, when asked why he was leaving the club, Cartwright said, "It wasn't mutual, put it that way. I still haven't been given a reason." And finally in tennis, and Britain's Jack Draper was forced to retire in the third set of his first-round match against Thomas Martin Echeverry at the Barcelona Open because of a knee injury. Draper won the first set against the Argentine 6-3, but he began to have difficulty with his movement and lost the second 6-3. The 24-year-old received attention from a physio and had tape applied to an area below his right knee shortly before the deciding set started. Draper's serve was broken twice by Echeverry in the third, and after struggling to get around the court, he conceded the contest at 4-1 down. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Tottenham have received a blow as their captain Cristian Romero is set to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury that he sustained in their 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. The Argentine looked visibly upset as he limped off following a collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski in the Premier League fixture at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. It raised concerns that he may have incurred an injury serious enough to rule him out of Spurs' final 6 games as they battle to avoid relegation. Following tests, Romero is now expected to miss up to 8 weeks with a high-grade partial tear of his medial cruciate ligament. His chances of being part of Argentina's squad for this summer's World Cup are also left hanging in the balance. Sticking with football, and Tottenham are said to be in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. Robertson confirmed last week that he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long interest in the 32-year-old left-back and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham will they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while it is said that a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Moving on to cricket now, and Lancashire skipper James Anderson took 4 for 18 as he helped his side defy the odds and defeat Derbyshire by 29 runs on a dramatic last day of the county championship match at the Emirates Old Trafford. Having bowled out Lancashire for 160 in their second innings, Ben Aitchison taking 3 for 38, Derbyshire needed only 138 to record their first victory on this ground since 1996. But Lancashire's four-man seam attack had other ideas, and despite skipper Harry Kane's 30, the visitors lost their last 9 wickets for 75 runs, with Anderson taking 4 for 7 in his 4.5 over second spell. Lancashire, they take 21 points from the game to Derbyshire's 6. Rugby League now, and outgoing Hull FC head coach John Cartwright says he has not been given a reason for why they have opted to part ways with him at the end of the season. The Black and Whites announced last week that they would not be renewing the 60-year-old Australian's contract. Cartwright took over on a 2-year deal after the 2024 season, when the team won just 3 of 27 matches and led them to 7th in 2025. However, when asked why he was leaving the club, Cartwright said, "It wasn't mutual, put it that way. I still haven't been given a reason." And finally in tennis, and Britain's Jack Draper was forced to retire in the third set of his first-round match against Thomas Martin Echeverry at the Barcelona Open because of a knee injury. Draper won the first set against the Argentine 6-3, but he began to have difficulty with his movement and lost the second 6-3. The 24-year-old received attention from a physio and had tape applied to an area below his right knee shortly before the deciding set started. Draper's serve was broken twice by Echeverry in the third, and after struggling to get around the court, he conceded the contest at 4-1 down. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Tottenham have received a blow as their captain Cristian Romero is set to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury that he sustained in their 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. The Argentine looked visibly upset as he limped off following a collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski in the Premier League fixture at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. It raised concerns that he may have incurred an injury serious enough to rule him out of Spurs' final 6 games as they battle to avoid relegation. Following tests, Romero is now expected to miss up to 8 weeks with a high-grade partial tear of his medial cruciate ligament. His chances of being part of Argentina's squad for this summer's World Cup are also left hanging in the balance. Sticking with football, and Tottenham are said to be in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. Robertson confirmed last week that he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long interest in the 32-year-old left-back and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham will they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while it is said that a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Moving on to cricket now, and Lancashire skipper James Anderson took 4 for 18 as he helped his side defy the odds and defeat Derbyshire by 29 runs on a dramatic last day of the county championship match at the Emirates Old Trafford. Having bowled out Lancashire for 160 in their second innings, Ben Aitchison taking 3 for 38, Derbyshire needed only 138 to record their first victory on this ground since 1996. But Lancashire's four-man seam attack had other ideas, and despite skipper Harry Kame's 30, the visitors lost their last 9 wickets for 75 runs, with Anderson taking 4 for 7 in his 4.5 over second spell. Lancashire, they take 21 points from the game to Derbyshire's 6. Rugby League now, and outgoing Hull FC head coach John Cartwright says he has not been given a reason for why they have opted to part ways with him at the end of the season. The Black and Whites announced last week that they would not be renewing the 60-year-old Australian's contract. Cartwright took over on a 2-year deal after the 2024 season, when the team won just 3 of 27 matches and led them to 7th in 2025. However, when asked why he was leaving the club, Cartwright said, "It wasn't mutual, put it that way. I still haven't been given a reason." And finally in tennis, and Britain's Jack Draper was forced to retire in the 3rd set of his first-round match against Thomas Martin Etcheverry at the Barcelona Open because of a knee injury. Draper won the first set against the Argentine 6-3, but he began to have difficulty with his movement and lost the second 6-3. The 24-year-old received attention from a physio and had tape applied to an area below his right knee shortly before the deciding set started. Draper's serve was broken twice by Etcheverry in the 3rd, and after struggling to get around the court, he conceded the contest at 4-1 down. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and Tottenham have received a blow as their captain Cristian Romero is set to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury that he sustained in their 1-0 defeat at Sunderland. The Argentine looked visibly upset as he limped off following a collision with goalkeeper Antonin Kinski in the Premier League fixture at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. It raised concerns that he may have incurred an injury serious enough to rule him out of Spurs' final 6 games as they battle to avoid relegation. Following tests, Romero is now expected to miss up to 8 weeks with a high-grade partial tear of his medial cruciate ligament. His chances of being part of Argentina's squad for this summer's World Cup are also left hanging in the balance. Sticking with football, and Tottenham are said to be in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson. Robertson confirmed last week that he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long interest in the 32-year-old left-back and they tried to sign him during the January window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham will they remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while
Lenny Yoro, there's maybe a question mark of a foul in there. Dominic Calvert-Lewin rises up with Lenny Yoro, doesn't he? And his left arm is high. It does make contact with Lenny Yoro. Is it a little bit 50-50 though?
I think so. Both players are jumping for it. If that was, I mean, it might sound quite cynical and think of it, but I think if that's not a goal, I think it could be given as long as he's taking a big risk across his own goal. My word, what a risk that was. But because it's a goal, I think you've also got to think to what happened after it. If that goes out for a goal kick, you might say, oh, they'll give the free kick, it's a bit soft, okay. But if that was to rule out a goal, that's where you go, that is really soft and that's really poor. Again, I just think Yoro, in 5 or 6 years, years, when he's got a bit more experience about him, I think he looks at him and he probably goes down in a bit of a different manner. But no, I think that would have been very soft. I think Calvert-Lewin just jumping for the ball, catches him, but also Yoro as well nearly catches Calvert-Lewin with the right elbow as well. So yeah, I think both rule each other out.
Into the 7th minute of the game, Leeds United have started like a house on fire. Manchester United nil, Leeds United 1. Noah Okafor with his 5th goal of the Premier League season. He's in possession now on the left-hand side, drops it back towards halfway for Pascal Struijk. He puts a foot on the ball and finally slows things for the Whites. I mentioned the 4 changes then from the quarter-final win against West Ham. Perry has been replaced from the start by Darlow. Here comes one of the other changes in Brendan Aronson. He's been dispossessed though on the edge of the Manchester United box. The other men coming in were Calvert-Lewin and Goodmanson, who's past fit to start despite a minor injury. Speaking of injuries, Rodon and Stack have been ruled out due to their ailments picked up in that quarter-final win. And Nemecha has dropped to the bench. It's Darlow in goal. It's Bogle, Struijk, Biol, Justin and Goodmanson at the back. Ampadu, Tanaka and Aronson in midfield. Calvert-Lewin up top with Okafor supporting. A foul here by Jayden Bogle. It's Casemiro who's come off the worst in that coming together. There's a little bit of a sider there from Bogle as Casemiro gets back to his feet and play continues. I mean, I said in commentary, Lewis, at the time, Okafor taps it in. You could describe it as such, couldn't you? Such as the composure of the finish from the Swiss international.
Oh, it's great composure, and he's just calm, as you say, because I think a lot of people might have got under that and took it at the road because it just falls for him so quickly. It's fantastic from the former AC Milan man, and again, Leeds United have been so good already. I think they've been fantastic. Again, it's a big game, and at the moment they're the ones showing up at Old Trafford, and again, they will know what's on the line tonight. They'll also know that, look, we let go a 2-0 lead in the 90 minutes at West Ham. That I'm sure the players will be thinking, right, I want to go out and prove ourselves this evening, pick up 3 points. That could be absolutely massive. Yes, it's early on, and what Leeds can do maybe as well is, look, if this gets played devil's advocate, 75th minute, it's 1-0, you can sit back a little, then you can sit back and just ask the Red Devils, what are you going to do? It's been a fast and furious start, and I really think that Michael Carrick's Reds have struggled so far. Yes, they're on the ball now, but Leeds look really tactically set up for this evening. Poor pass and they win the ball back.
Well, they've barely seen the ball, have they, the home side so far? It has been all Leeds United. 9 minutes in, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 1. Okafor with the goal. They've started the game so confidently, the visitors. Daniel Farke, we spoke about before the game, Lewis, he'd said before this one that his side can't just come and sit behind the ball. They can't just park the bus at Old Trafford. They're too good of a team, Manchester United, and it's too grand of a stage to do that. They definitely won't be doing that now, you'd imagine. Yes, they've got the lead, but to sit back for this long, that they have to keep pushing on the way that they are.
Oh, 100%. That's what I mean. Later on in the game, I'm sure he will say sit back there. But now you've got Manchester United right where you want them. It backs up against the wall. Even as you say, yes, Manchester United have got a bit more of the ball, but they're all comfortable every single time as a man closing them down. So it could be important as well. But here they come with Fernandes.
Yeah, it's brilliant from Fernandes. Mazraoui back to Fernandes. Ball into the area. Looks a dangerous one. It's picked up though by Justin. He's got time to take a touch and then swings a left boot at the ball to clear it away down the right hand side. That's the best we've seen of the home side so far. And it's no surprise that Bruno Fernandes was involved.
Yeah, not a shock. And I think that's probably why they have been poor for 10 minutes, because he has that many touches, has he? And I think credit to Leeds United, they've done well to stop that. But here they come.
Yeah, over to Fernandes once more. His header down for Sesko is not going to find its target. Cleared away by Biol. Then Goodmanson on the left-hand side. He just touched it away from Diallo. That's just opened things up for Leeds. Tanaka essentially. First time ball from him is a little bit short for his man on the far side. And it's Cunha who's able to collect it. 10.5 minutes gone. Leeds leading away from home at Old Trafford. You're listening to Off-Tube independent studio-based commentary. Well, Manchester United have been pretty decent when being behind this season. 15 points gained from losing positions. Leeds have dropped 17. So I get both of those stats pointing towards potentially an equaliser, if not more. But we have plenty of time to play before then. Manchester United in possession. Here's Martinez into the feet of Casemiro. First time over the top looking for Diallo. He's onside. In behind the defence. Amad Diallo hits one from the edge of the area. It's a good save from Darlow. Down to his right hand side. It's a first effort on target from the hosts.
Yeah, that's all he could really do there. It's a lovely ball, I thought, from Casemiro. Well timed run. He's just onside as well. It's striking just a little bit behind that back three. However, you do like to look at it, and unfortunately, he can't let it run because Strike makes a good defensive play, because if he lets it run, he's got a one-on-one. So well defended there by the Leeds United man. But also, I think Diallo stopped and he probably looked around and thought, there's no one making a run here. Where's Cunha? Where's Fernandes? Yes, Sesko is, but he's a little bit behind me, so I have to turn and take a shot. Look, as well, it's a good save from Diallo, because a lot of times how that happens, you see goalkeepers bounce just before them and they almost rebound it into the path of a striker, don't they? So he did well to hold that. Here they come with Mazraoui.
Yeah, he's stolen it away from Tanaka, although Leeds have been able to pick the ball back up. They're trying to play out, but it's rather unconvincing. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's had it stolen off his toes. Then Diallo loses out to Goodmanson. Tanaka clears under pressure. Out towards the left-hand side, it'll just dribble over halfway and then out of touch for a Manchester United throw. The hosts boast the best Premier League record over the last 10 games. That coincides with Michael Carrick's arrival. They have not... they've picked up more points than anyone else in the Premier League since the former Manchester United player took over. 12.5 minutes in, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 1, with Cunha in possession. Jayden Bogle a little bit too close for comfort. That'll be a free kick. And it's quickly played towards Fernandes. Now to Yoro. He's got Mazraoui to his right, still Yoro. Tries to switch play over towards the left, but it's straight into the feet of Brendan Aronson, who calmly goes backwards towards Bogle inside his own half. He shifts infield away from the challenge of Cunha and leads back in possession. 13 minutes in, 1-0 to the visitors. Tanaka to Justin, a little bit of a hole here. He has to sweep it away with his left boot towards halfway. Header won by Yoro. Now picked up by Ugarte. He tries to play the ball forward. That's poor. Tanaka intercepts. Now Bogle once more, just over halfway. Aronson makes a run. It's into the feet of Ampadu. Opens up here for Leeds as the American has it now on the far side. And then back to Bogle. About midway through opposition territory. Leeds not as insistent on flying forward, Lewis, as they were before the goal, are they? I think the game's just settling down now. It is.
It was a really frantic start, and I think that really suited the Whites the first 5 or 10 minutes. I think now they're more control, maybe about controlling the game, aren't they? Not want to. It's very different. Some teams have the philosophy of when we are ahead, we want to defend and hit on the counter. Some teams have the philosophy of we're ahead, we want the ball to control the game. You saw City at the weekend, their philosophy as per usual is we score, but we do keep the ball. Leeds are doing a very similar thing at the moment. I do think that the Devils have been a little bit too defensive sitting back. I think they need to take it to Leeds, what Leeds are doing to Manchester United. But here comes this free kick.
Free kick to Leeds. Tanaka into the area looking for Beale. It's won by Mazraoui. Second header away from Casemiro. Diallo will chase. He'll get there in front of Pascal Struijk. Takes a touch off the Dutchman and he goes down. It will be a free kick to the host. 15 minutes in, Manchester United 0, Leeds 1. Back in possession with the host. Out towards that far side. Shaw dinks it into the channel, looking for the run of Sesko. Takes it on his chest. He's got his back to goal though on the byline on the left hand side. Held up by Beale. Goes backwards to Cunha. Cunha inside to Ugarte. Ugarte to the captain Bruno Fernandes. Just a little bit of a touch on his heels by Ethan Ampadu. But play on, says the referee, as Martinez has it now. And then Shaw. Infield to Bruno Fernandes. Takes one touch confidently. Drills the ball into the area. It's high, looking for Mazraoui. Keeps it alive. Tries to draw it back into the area. Takes a touch off the goal scorer. And out for the first corner of the game to Manchester United.
Yeah, just a little bit of a hit there by Fernandes. But I think Mazraoui does his best almost just to put it back into an area. And I think Goka thought it might fall for Diallo. But I think he's also just safety first. Put it out for a corner. United are very good though, Manchester United, from set pieces and corner kicks, more from free kicks. Fernandes, I mean, he's got so many assists this season. He's got 15 or maybe 16 in the league alone. So outswing an opportunity. Casemiro's great as well, so an opportunity to get the equaliser here.
Yeah, 16 assists. He leads that record in the Premier League. He's got 6 more than anyone else. In comes the corner towards the front post, towards Lenny Yoro, who wins the header. But it's high and over the bar and out of play for a goal kick. That'll give the young Frenchman some confidence. It's going to be a tough test, isn't it, this evening? We've already seen that with Dominic Calvert-Lewin going close, but he wins the header there against Pascal Struijk, who's pretty good in the air himself.
Yeah, I think there needs a bit of confidence against Calvert-Lewin if he could do it winning a few headers, couldn't he? After, again, for the goal, he didn't lose a header battle, but he lost the battle in the air, didn't he? Because, again, Calvert-Lewin, I've just thought, jumped in the air, just bigger and stronger than him, if I'm being honest. So, again, this is where we spoke about Harry Maguire being out. That'll be massive against the Calvert-Lewin, but here comes Okafor again.
Yeah, down the left-hand side. He's going to get an overlapping run from Goodmanson. Couple of step overs, then moves it towards the edge for Tanaka. Now Goodmanson on the left, one touch out of his feet, ball into the air, takes a deflection towards the front post, up into the air by Aronson, but it's blocked away, and now Casemiro can play it forward. Leeds a little bit open at the back here as Manchester United fly forward. Diallo in behind Beale. That's a great pass, and here is Sk on the edge of the area, tries to open up, he drills a ball in, but it takes a deflection. It's a double touch actually, and it comes back off the Slovenian international and dribbles through into the hands of the goalkeeper, but that was a chance.
It was exceptional from Diallo there to hit on the counter, and almost when United are defending, I know there's in that front four there's usually a lot of movement, especially when Mbeumo was playing up front instead of Sk, and I'm surprised Mbeumo isn't at least starting this evening. But it seems that Diallo's almost up front with Sk, isn't he? Trying with a bit more pace, and on a counter attack, for example, if you put Fernandes up there with Sk, Fernandes isn't going to beat that back three for pace. Diallo will most likely beat a lot of defenders for pace. So they've won the ball out the field with Cunha.
Yes, it's better from the Red Devils. Cunha moves in field of Biel, goes down. He's given it the other way as the referee Paul Turney. I think he's going to book Cunha for diving. He is indeed the Brazilian, the first man to be shown a yellow then this evening. He just moved inside of Jakob Biel, and I've got to say at first viewing I thought he'd been caught, but the referee's got this spot on.
Yeah, he's spot on. I think as well there might be the slightest of touches with the right boot of Cunha and left boot of Biel, but it is nowhere near enough to go down. And you always felt Cunha was looking for it as well. That's the difference as well. That how he goes over, that's not a clip of the ankles, is it? If you were caught and he goes over, fair enough. And it's a silly yellow card, so already probably if you're Michael Carrick, now I'm not saying you take him off now, but yellow card, you want to come off in the second half, aren't you? And Mbeumo's on the bench, as I've already spoke about. That's a straight replacement there. And again, he just always felt like he was looking for a free kick there instead of taking his man on, which I thought was pretty poor, to be quite honest. But again, just going back to that Sk chance quickly, as Casemiro's been fouled, I felt he should have chucked it on his left, because it's great defending from the Leeds United man, but you always know where he wanted to go. So you always were putting him on his right foot. You were daring him to go down with his left. If he'll take it to your left, hit a low-driven shot, test the keeper.
Calvert-Lewin, he'd won the header there against Casemiro, but it was his trailing left arm which caught the Brazilian on the forehead. So that will be a free kick to the hosts. Manchester United nil, Leeds United 1, 19 minutes in. Noah Okafor's goal separates the two sides. Here's Casemiro. Ball out towards the right. It's perfectly weighted for Diallo on the corner of the box on the right. Cuts it on his left. Diallo, big chance. He drills the shot wide. He'd gone for that curling effort. Couldn't get enough purchase on it. In the end, it's more straight than it wanted to be. It's out of play for a goal kick, but Manchester United have responded really well in the last few minutes.
They have responded really well, and it's, again, it's very similar, because you know what he wants to do there. You know he wants to cut in on his left boot. I know it goes wide anyway, and it's defended really well, but you just know what he wants to do. So I think it's a little bit predictable. And look, the next time you might go down the byline to switch up. I think you need to do that. But every time I watch the Ivory, it looks like it's a little bit too predictable where he wants to go. But Okafor might win the ball. Here come Leeds. Not good tackle from Yoro.
Yeah, out for a throw on the right hand side for Leeds. Not for the first time, Lewis. There's been a huge gap on the sort of right centre between the midfield and the defence of Manchester United. Those two holding midfielders, Ugarte and Casemiro, they're leaving a big gap in front of the defence.
They really are, and I don't know if that's a tactic to push higher up, but then it's both of them seems to be, they're not high enough to help with a press either, but then they're not low enough to help with the defenders. It is very weird how they're trying to do it at the moment. And I also feel Kobe Mainoo, of course, is a massive miss, but I just feel it's profiles. I feel that Casemiro and Ugarte is not a good pairing. Ugarte and Mainoo is a good pairing, but Cunha nearly in behind there. So I think the profiles aren't helping the midfield at all.
Yeah, Cunha had the burners on there. Biel had been caught short, but Darlow was not. The Welsh international quickly off his line to clear the ball away. Out for a throw on this near side. 21st minute of the game, 1-0 to the visitors. Noah Okafor's 5th Premier League goal of the season puts the pressure on Michael Carrick and his side. 3rd in the Premier League coming in today, a 7-point buffer above 6th, which is currently occupied by Chelsea. That's, of course, at the moment, the last of the European spots. Anything under that at the minute won't be playing in Europe next season, but they do play Chelsea in 6th, Brentford in 7th, and Liverpool in 5th after this evening. If they don't get a win today, Lewis, it really does put pressure on those 3 games.
Oh, absolutely massive, isn't it? And it's a big opportunity, because I think for United it's all about the context, isn't it? With what Ruben Amorim did and what Michael Carrick's come in and done, he's been exceptional. I think Ruben Amorim did a better job than I think a lot of people give him credit for, but I do think Carrick's come in and just changed the environment, the club, the attitude, everything has been massive since the former players come in. But you're right, if you can get this opportunity as well, it's again, it's a top 5 as well now, isn't it? They get Champions League, so 5th place isn't as bad as first 4. But it's also that to say you're 3rd with a chance to go 3 points clear of 4th, if you don't get that job done and you drop out of the top 4, that's where it seems a bit worse. So, yeah, tonight's massive, but games after could be even bigger. Here comes Tanaka.
Yeah, he's stolen the ball away. He's got Okafor for support. He moves infield inside the area, back to Tanaka on the edge, quickly closed down by Casemiro. A couple of good touches to avoid the Brazilian's challenge. Ampadu has to go backwards to Pascal Strout. Here's Goodmanson with Mazraoui in front of him, supported now by 2 in white. One of them is the goal scorer, and the other is Ampadu. Ampadu then to Aronson. Good football from Leeds. It's tight though as Manchester United holding them in the corner. Here's Aronson on the left. He has a step over, then tries to poke it through to Noah Okafor. That's over here, and maybe a miscommunication. Good defending from the host, but Leeds showing that they've still got some confidence.
Yeah, and how funny is it that a 3-4-3 has been played at Old Trafford, and it's been played very well, but by the visitors, because it was so long that Amorim played that way. But in this formation, Leeds have the profiles for it. Given away by Fernandes. Here comes Okafor.
Okafor to Tanaka, corner of the box on the left-hand side. Here's Goodmanson towards the byline. Ball into the area. It's a dangerous one. It's flicked away, but only as far as Bogle on the far side. He's got 2 on the edge to aim for. Tries to drill it across. Takes a touch off a man in red and out for a Leeds corner.
I do think it's not a bad idea putting the ball in the box. I would never say that. But I thought Ampadu was in a lot of space on the edge of the area. If he just takes a touch, gets his head up, Cunha makes run into the box. There's both Justin and Ampadu there that I thought would have been a better option to go for a strike.
Yeah, I think that's the point that Daniel Farke is making. The cameras just pan to him on this touchline. But they have got a corner. 23 minutes gone. Manchester United 0, Leeds United 1. Been a really good opening quarter of the game, it's got to be said. And Leeds with a corner potentially to double their lead. It will be Tanaka. He'll take it from that far side. It will be a right-footed away swinger. Both arms in the air, then right boot at the ball towards the penalty spot. It's flicked towards goal by Beale, but it never looked in danger of troubling the goalkeeper, and it's out of play for a goal kick. Well, as I mentioned, we are a quarter of the way through the game. It's absolutely flown by. It's been really high quality, really high energy. Hopefully that will continue, and he'll be Lewis to take you through to half time.
Cheers, Tom. Yeah, you're spot on with everything you just said there. We wanted goals. We've got one inside 5 minutes for Leeds United, and credit to them. As I said, so many teams score a goal early on, and these days almost just sit back instantly and let the other team in the game. Leeds are still taking it to the host. Manchester United trying to play it from the back there. Doesn't work, but Sesko picks it up. Can he find Cunha into Fernandes? He does find the Brazilian. It's more of an awkward pass to make. Cunha still comes away with the ball. Can he pick out Diallo on the right? Poor first touch. He wasn't going to get to the second ball. There might even be a question there, but I think he loses his balance. The pass from Fernandes, I think, is a good one, but for me, that pass has got to come from Sesko through the middle. Well,
that all comes from Brendan Aronson sliding in to try and win the ball when he didn't really need to, did he? And he sort of overhits the tackle, if you will, because it's kind of like a sliding pass, and it goes straight into the feet of a Manchester United man. Luckily for Leeds, though, that the host couldn't do anything with it. I thought it was a good idea from Diallo with that touch. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to touch it away from the defender, but as you say, he sort of loses footing.
He does. Leeds now trying to play out from the back. Casemiro pressing high, but as Tom spoke about, that gaping hole in the middle just starts to appear once again. Tanaka, credit to Casemiro, he does get back. Casemiro really lasts 90 minutes. I know he's leaving at the end of the season, of course, isn't it? A lot of Manchester United fans want him to say, could you just sign a one more year deal? Him and Kobe Mino have been a great partnership in the middle as well. I thought it's one of them where, for me, I also feel it's a good time for him to leave. I can imagine he screams for me personally, as Leeds United do have the ball inside their own half, of what Luka Modric has done at AC Milan. He looks like he's about 10 years younger in this series. I could imagine him going to an Inter Milan and being absolutely fantastic for years to come. That's a bad foul by Shaw, late one, I should say more, and a free kick for Leeds United. But Casemiro leaving in the summer, it'll be a big hole to replace. I think Manchester United don't really need midfielders, regardless of what they lose, and losing him will lose a lot of experience and a lot of longevity in midfield.
Well, football's a funny thing, isn't it? Because, you know, plenty of people, pundits and ex-professionals were saying, what was it, about a year and a half ago, that he was done. He looked nothing like the player that was at Real Madrid, who won all those titles, won all those Champions Leagues. This season he's been brilliant, much like Fred in his last season was excellent, and then he left. It's a strange thing.
Yeah, it is spot on with that. Leeds have this free kick. It's looped into the back. I think there's been a foul anyway in the box. So many bodies as it is with set pieces. I believe Casemiro was the man down, so free kick for the Red Devils. Looks like Calvert-Lewin was the man who was responsible for the foul. But again, when you are Calvert-Lewin, I think some things can go against you. Just how big of a striker you are, hands all over each other kind of thing. It's one of them things that reminds me of Drogba used to pick up a lot of fouls just because he was a big striker and it looked a bit less and never helped him really.
Yeah, no, he's really putting himself about. He's asking questions of both centre halves, which is really important. Of course, a lot of chat about him and his sort of up and down season. Really started really slow, had a good spell up towards Christmas, and then it's fallen off really in the new year. But goals or no goals, he's still pivotal to this Leeds side.
Yeah, I think it's been fantastic. Ball from Casemiro looking for Fernandes. Great interception and tackle there from Struijk. Into the middle to Tanaka, Ampadu. So a bit of space to drive forward. Finds a lovely ball to Okafor on the left-hand side. Once again, space being vacated. Okafor, he's got one. He's going to cut inside. Might go for goal. Sprays it to the right to Bogle. Takes a touch. Ball across the face of goal. It's just behind Calvert-Lewin. Keeps it alive. Martinez. There's so many bodies in the box. Fouls being given against Calvert-Lewin. Offside. I'm not too sure. Referees brought a pause to the game. The referee this afternoon is Paul Tierney, as Tom has already mentioned. I'm not too sure what he's given there. It was a back heel from Calvert-Lewin, and he brings a pause to the play. I don't know what, because Goodmanson was lining up for a strike.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he's seen here. Whether it's the official maybe who's caught something. It's just maybe a touch on someone's foot potentially. Who is it that goes down? Is it Martinez? Yeah, I can't see anything in there, Lewis. I'm not sure what they've seen. Maybe the benefit of the doubt is that there's so many players in there. Maybe the referee just thinks you wouldn't go down if you weren't fouled, maybe considering the situation that Leeds are in. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a very confusing one. Leeds have given away the ball here, and here come United with Fernandes. He goes down rather softly, still down holding his left ankle. I just thought it was a good tackle from Ampadu, but still down is Manchester United captain. He does love a good moan though, does Bruno Fernandes. Ampadu sprays the ball to the right hand side. James Justin with a nice first touch. He's on overlapping run to his right to Bogle, but still comes forward the former Leicester man. Ball into the back sticks. Good ball, but better block. An interception there. Martinez plays a poor pass. Ampadu into Aronson. Strike is blocked away. Only as far as Okafor, and the white still coming forward. Goodmanson dinks a ball in. Headed away by Shaw, and as far as Okafor, backing for Calvert-Lewin. They can't keep the ball on the floor here. Can he side Okafor outside the area, takes a deflection, and Leeds United grab a second, and a second for Okafor as well. What a sweet strike. Might take the slightest of deflections, but they will not care. 29 minutes on the clock at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2.
Well, Leeds United, an absolute dreamland here, aren't they? Away from home at Old Trafford, not even half an hour gone, they're 2-0 up, and you would say that they deserve to be in front as well. They've been absolutely full of energy. The hosts look so rusty, they look totally off it. Leeds are really up for this. Ball into the area towards Calvert-Lewin. It's flicked away by Yoro. Martinez takes an age to get rid of it. Casemiro doesn't move off his heels quickly enough. Ampadu steals it away. Yes, there's a bit of fortune as it comes back to Okafor. The finish takes a deflection, doesn't it? And I'm sure that unsights the goalkeeper. But, I mean, take nothing away from this Leeds performance. They're full of confidence, full of energy. I wouldn't say go as far as to say they deserve to be 2-0 up, Lewis, but I think they definitely deserve to be in front.
No, I think you're 100% right with that. Just couldn't head it away, could Manchester United. I think that all comes as well. You were spot on Martinez, because I feel for Casemiro there, because as you say, Martinez is looking, he can see the pitch in front of him, he can see Ampadu just with a flash of pressing down Casemiro. Yep. Casemiro, I don't think he takes it, I just think Ampadu takes it off of his foot. It's a great tackle from Ampadu. But Martinez, again, it's one of them, isn't it, where to me that screams the modern day defender if we've got to play out from the back, because to me, if I'm Martinez, I go, we've got no options. We've got Sk up top. We'll just get it up to him. Well,
that's the thing that Casemiro's shown for the ball on the edge of the box, and he just takes too long, Lewis. Like I say, he doesn't move off his heels. He doesn't move to the ball. Someone needs to tell him, man on, move. Do something. He just stands completely still. Ball into the area for Manchester United. It's cleared away and out for a corner. But it's so funny. We were literally just talking about Casemiro, how for a long time at the start of his Manchester United career, he didn't look like the player he was. And then he's had a brilliant spell this season, and then it's his error, a multitude of errors really, that's led to the second.
Yeah, it was. I think you're right. One of them, Casemiro shows, and Martinez takes that second, doesn't he? Which then Casemiro I mean, Casemiro might have taken a touch, and Ampadu takes off him anyway, so that something could have happened. But as Tom rightfully said, from the far side, Bruno Fernandes with an in-swinging corner. Heads go up. I will say against this lead side, I think set pieces are going to be very hard to win such a big side with that back three. Calvert-Lewin onto it. Mazraoui, that's maybe a soft free kick there from Okafor. I would also, as well as say about corners, set pieces have been great for United, but more free kicks, I believe, they've scored more than corners. And this is a very good angle, I think, for Fernandes to whip one into the back sticks.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, we spoke about Bruno Fernandes, 8 goals and 16 assists in the league. He has been the main man, hasn't he? He is the man. He's got the most assists, 6 more than anyone else in the league as well. And this is right where he would want a free kick. It's in line with the byline on the right-hand side. It's a perfect crossing opportunity.
As well, we've spoken about Harry Maguire. Massive miss from set pieces, of course. I say, look at that back three. I know James Justin isn't the tallest. Fernandes puts it in. It's terrible. It's catching practice for Darlow. But I do feel against this lead side, you've got Calvert-Lewin, Ampadu, Strike, Biol. I think Darlow's a really good keeper at being alert and coming out and winning the ball just like that. That's Paul from Yoro. Ball into Calvert-Lewin. He's a little bit wide on the right-hand side. Puts it back cross face of goal. Blocked away by Mazraoui. But there's not a player in red to get there. It's Calvert-Lewin who wins it. And he wins a foul as well. I do think very similar to Mazraoui's. I think it's a little bit soft, but it's always going to be a foul all day long there. But that's once again, they didn't win the first ball. Did Leeds, but they were lost to the second. They won the second ball, lost by Euro. I think that's pretty poor. And I just think at the moment we spoke before when they went on the air. Calvert-Lewin for me, yes, he hasn't scored. Okafor's got 2, but he's just been a handful for Martinez and Euro.
Yeah, the balls into the area, whether they're to Calvert-Lewin or by Calvert-Lewin, have been really dangerous. They've caused problems, not just because it's caused problems for the goalkeeper to come and get it, or it's misshaped the defence, but the first contact, not yet, has been strong enough from Manchester United, and the second ball so often has been picked up by the visitors.
They've got a free kick on the right hand side here. Tanaka swings it into a good area, into the back post, headed down into the 6-yard box, but Casemiro hooks it long, clears it away. Justin will swing one long, nodded back into a dangerous area. Martinez has to, just off of his right thigh, just play it back to Lemens, and he's saying as the Argentine, calm down guys, we're all over the place at the moment. 33 minutes on the clock. Independent off-tube studio commentary of this big clash this Monday evening at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. 2 goals from Okafor. I still believe the second one will go down as the Swiss has got. It was on target. Yes, it takes a deflection, but for example, yesterday Mukiele took his goal that was given for him, took a wicked strike off Van de Ven, but the strike was on target, so usually it is given. So a brace so far for the former AC Milan man. A lot to do for the Red Devils, and look, of course, as we've seen them come back before. Old Trafford, the fans will be on their side, but again, we've already just seen the Leeds United fans celebrate when they score. They always travel fantastically well, so they'll be absolutely buzzing with what they've got. Ugarte into Fernandes, who's dropping a little bit deeper to get involved. Ball into the box, it's a decent one. Cunha just can't get there though, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. Good idea. I actually don't think it's bad execution, and maybe you think Cunha could have even maybe swing a left leg at that.
Yeah, I think the right adjective there is teasing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not got much pace on it, but it's just lofted towards a far post, and if you can get a touch on that, Cunha, and keep that alive, Man United may be in there. I'm just thinking, I just thought about it a few minutes ago, Leeds in the quarter-final of the FA Cup, they were turning up against West Ham and they squandered that lead late on, and I just wondered, the psychology, whether it's conscious or subconscious, about these Leeds players. Have they got that in the back of the mind? Yes, they won on penalties in the end, but that has to be playing a part. You would think for confidence, if they can get through this, if they can hold on to the win for the rest of the season, that'll be massive.
Oh, 100%. And as well, you've got to think about, I think they've been by far the better side, have Leeds United, but you'd also say that in this first 30 minutes, 35 minutes, have they thrown so much energy at it that, look, so they've got 5 subs, so that's nearly half the team that can come on. It's half of the outfield players can come on. That can make a difference. I'm not saying that, but when you put so much energy into the first half, it can be hard to continue that for a full 90. Cunha tries to go through, and almost his sandwich, but I do believe he will win a corner for his side. He does. And that's one of them, isn't it? Yeah, first half an hour he's been good, but what they've done is, if this was 0-0, I'd be saying I think Manchester United will get a goal and win this, but they've done the job by going and getting 2, so now they can afford to just sit back a bit more.
Well, there's players like Aronson and Goodmanson in this Leeds side who will run all day, Lewis, and we've already spoke about Ugarte and Casemiro, and I won't write them off just yet, but they're not the quickest, they're not the most energetic midfielders.
No, I'd agree with that. In comes in swinger from Fernandes, heads go up, but it's cleared once again by Leeds United head. Cunha nods it back to Fernandes, and back to the Brazilian. He's going to go for goal. It's a great effort, just a whisker over. He wants a corner. I don't think Darlow got a touch of that. Of course, if it is, it's a very, very, one of those slightest fingertip touches. I think it was a heavy touch out of his feet at first.
Does he think it's a deflection, I think, Lewis, off the defender?
He was asking for something, wasn't he? Is it maybe Goodmanson? I mean, it's moving and curving all over the place. If that's on target, play devil's advocate, goes back at it. Do you think Darlow looks a little bit silly? But the ball was moving, sort of swerving all over the place.
It was, yeah. It was really vicious. It might have taken a deflection as well, to be honest. It might have just changed the trajectory ever so slightly. I was just thinking there as well, Cunha's got to be careful. He's been booked. He's the only man in the book so far. I think he recognised that. He had a little bit of a word towards Paul Turney and then just thought, actually, yeah, I better be careful.
Yeah, well, you don't want to, again, it'd be one silly yellow card for simulation, another silly one for yapping too much to the referee. I'm sure Michael Carrick and the rest of his team and the fans in the stands this evening would be like, why have you done that? Especially because the simulation was such a silly one. I always think they're very, very poor yellow cards to receive at any point in the game, of course. But it is back with the Red Devils. And Leeds are sitting in the back, I think, a little bit more. But look, last 10 minutes of the first half, if you said to me 2-0 up at half time, they'll be over the moon. Martinez plays it over top for Cunha. Nice first touch, tries to just play it back into the feet of Fernandes, but he almost traps it and it's nowhere near the feet of the skipper. Ugarte wants a free kick, would have been soft, referee doesn't give it. Cunha trying to get past a few players on the edge of the area. Ahmad on the right hand side tries to play a ball and just gets caught there, and you can see as well, I think, a little bit of frustration on the Red Devils players' faces.
Yeah, and do you know what, I can understand it, Lewis, because there's a couple in there that they're almost fouls from Leeds players. They just catch the toes as the ball's gone on a couple of occasions, particularly that last one on Ahmad Diallo, so you can understand the frustration there from the host. And it's been so nearly good from Manchester United in the final third. You know, we saw that effort from Diallo, a couple of efforts from Diallo actually, one on target, one not. There was the one from Sk where he just got it caught under his feet. Then there was a sort of double deflection that meant it just bobbled through to Carl Darlow. So it's been almost good in the final third.
It has. I think Leeds look very, very good and very fluid when they come forward, and they might do now. Goodmanson, can he keep it in? I do believe he has, and he plays it off Ahmad Diallo as well, so really good play there from the Leeds left wing back. 7 minutes until we hit the 45th minute mark as well. It's been a really good first half, been very fluid, not many pauses or injuries or anything. We've got the 2 goals, so maybe looking at a minute or two of stoppage time at the moment, but Leeds coming forward again. Bogle brings it into the inside. It's a poor pass in the end, but Ugarte wins it but loses it instantly. Then Cunha takes it off the toes of Ampadu, takes it past a few. That's a big tackle there coming in from James Justin. I thought it was a good tackle. He's going to pick up a yellow card. To me, this is a cliche quote as it sounds. 20 years ago, that's a great tackle, because the problem is he goes through behind, but he wins the ball for me, and that is the modern, that's a foul, that's a yellow card, but I just think that's a good old school tackle and he wins the ball well.
Yeah, I'm going to go one further. I'll take another spin on that cliche, Lewis. I think 5 years ago, that's fine. You know, maybe it's a foul, but it's not a yellow card.
Yeah.
He just goes in with force. He did really well to get away from Justin there. Cunha, to be honest, put him under pressure. Leeds have just had that. They've just been, I think, one pass or one movement away from being totally open. They've been quite lucky defensively.
Now forward comes Cunha again. He's finding a bit of rhythm in the game. Ball into the box, looking for Casemiro. Nodded away by Tanaka. Heavy touch from Calvert-Lewin, but no one closes him down to win the ball. Plays it out to left-hand side to Okafor on a hat-trick, of course. Well played though by Mazraoui, just to clear it away out for a throw-in. Again, watching it, I think you're spot on there, watching the replay. If I'm quite honest, again, we look at it from a broadcast view, it's independent off Tube Studio commentary. It's one of them where it is a foul, watching it back, I think it's a foul, but I think you're spot on. Is it a yellow card? I think that's really, really harsh, to be quite honest, but again, it's the modern game, isn't it? I'm sure a few of our colleagues of an older age would probably be saying, again, that's not even a foul, that's a good tackle, but now he is in the book. Aronson wins it, plays it out to Bogle on the right hand side, opens up, tries to dink a ball into Calvert-Lewin, just a bit too much on it. Calvert-Lewin gets there in the end, but he has to really leap and show a good vertical, but gets underneath anyway. But once again, you see about Leeds United being open, nearly open, I'd agree with that, but also Manchester United, it's 1 or 2 passes and there's players looking around and going, where were you? Frustration all over the board for the Red Devils.
Yeah, very open at both ends, isn't it? I mean, he might have just been offside there, Calvert-Lewin, but it's really good support from Aronson. But Bogle as well, we know he's basically a right winger for Leeds, and he has been all season. Gets up in support there. It's a decent ball in, just needs to take a little bit off it, allow Calvert-Lewin a little bit more time. it needed to be perfect. It wasn't quite, but it's still good from the visitors.
I'd say as well, a lot of teams say I always say the question of it's a 3 or a 5 at the back, whatever you like to look at it. Leeds me is a 3 because they are wing backs, but they fly up and down so often. Casemiro ball into the box, nearly finds Fernandes, but well headed away by Justin. Out to Shaw on the left-hand side, pokes it back inside for Ugarte, looks back for the run of Shaw. He's asking for a pullback, or he might even be asking for where was the run or where was the pass from one of his teammates there. And I think the one player for me that looks really lively, Cunha's on the ball, but you've already spoke about it. He's just got to look and go, but it's on a yellow card. It's hard to see him seeing out the 90 is what I'd say.
Yeah, him, and before the second you would have said Diallo, but since that second he's gone really quiet, almost a lack of confidence really. I think there's a lack of confidence across the board in players in red, but certainly Cunha, his tail's up, he's up for this. And he so often is, whenever I've watched him, whether it be at Manchester United or at Wolves previously, he always looks like one of the best players on the pitch, always looks like the one with some of the most quality, particular technical quality, but he's got that little bit of a fight in him, hasn't he? He's got a little bit of a bite about him. He's already been booked, just needs to be careful. He's
got that quote-unquote the South American style of a bit fiery, a bit feisty. He's always a good player to watch. As well, playing in this different formation, I do think in this 4-2-3-1, I think he'd be better as that main number 10, because again at Wolves they're almost just play wherever you want. You pick up the ball, you go. He was the main man, wasn't he? Whereas at the Red Devils, he's one of the main men, but he's not the main man in terms of that's Bruno Fernandes. But ball into Cunha. That's a pop pass into Fernandes, cleared away, race on between Shaw and Bogle. Great tackle from the left back there, times it to perfection. Then sprays the ball from left to right, lovely ball to Diallo. Great play from Shaw there overall. Diallo, Fernandes, quick 1-2 between the two players. Back to Mazraoui. Ugarte. I don't think he'll be unleashing a shot from there. Everyone is in the Leeds United half, bar of course Senny Lamens, and I'm sure he's not on his goal line. Fernandes tries to poke it forward through to Amad Diallo. 2.5 minutes left of the 45. As I say, I can't see too much stoppage time being given, but Fernandes, he looks like he's had a very awkward and frustrating first half so far. Looking at the stats, 5 shots for the Red Devils, 7 for the leaders Leeds, 2 on target for Manchester United, 3 for Leeds. Expected goals 0.17 for Manchester United, 1.31 for Leeds. Of course, that Calvert-Lewin one inside the first 2 or 3 minutes, that would have been a high XG created chance there. But the Okafor goal, that was very good. And yes, his second took a deflection, but they were all over them. It was poor from United from the get-go in that attack. Fernandes looks to dink one in for Sk just over his head. Has to be hollowed out for Bogle. And that's maybe the second or third time now Fernandes picking it up there and just trying to swing one into the box. Yeah, some more warning signs for Daniel Farke's side, isn't it? Really dangerous ball in from Bruno Fernandes. Very different to the crosses that Leeds have put into the area. Those have been low drilled and whipped. This one's more floated. Dangerous though in a corner. Will be another corner. The Red Devils are racking them up. All have been from the far side, which Fernandes will swing the in-swinger in. That's one of the better ones. Falls outside the area. Mazraoui into Cunha, back to the right back. He's going to unleash a strike. Goes well wide of the goal. There's right back for Leeds United, Luke Ayling, who scored from that very similar area in the defeat a few times ago at Old Trafford. But that one from the get-go seemed like that was going wide. Yeah, Aronson does his best to close him down. Doesn't quite get there. He's able to release a strike off that right boot, but never really caught it, did he? And it's out for a goal kick. Good punch from the corner as well from Carl Darlow. Not the biggest of goalkeepers, but managed just to get through the crowd there and punch it away. Seeing pictures of the Leeds United travelling fans. As I said, they always travel in absolute droves wherever they go. At the London Stadium last week, it felt like there was 3 or 4 stands just for them. Popping out from the back, Tanaka's got a one-on-one, takes it past the goalkeeper, off the line, Lisandro Martinez with a clearance. It was all so close to 3-0. The Red Devils, their own worst enemy right there, trying to play it from the back. Tanaka, lovely play to take it past Lamens, sat down the Belgian goalkeeper. Lisandro Martinez to the rescue. It was poor from the get-go, poor from Casemiro, poor from Yoro. It's that left touch on his left foot, it's a heavy touch, and he's racing to get it. Credit to Martinez for getting back and just having that fight and battle to get there, but that should have been 3-0. Yeah, this night nearly got from bad to absolutely terrible, didn't it, for Manchester United? But for that man, Lisandro Martinez, back from injury,
slides in and saves Manchester United blushes. That could be a really important moment come the end of the game.
Absolutely. If play devil's advocate, if it finishes 2-2, 3-2 to the Red Devils, you look back at that one. 2 minutes of stoppage time has been given. They've got a chance to get a third here. The ball into the box, header is on goal, but it's just a little bit tame from Struijk, and the men's will try and quickly ball it out for the Red Devils. We've already spoke about set pieces. He gets in between Casemiro and Martinez. Good header, but as I say, it's on goal, but just a little bit tame from this defender.
Two big chances in less than a minute there for Leeds United. The Tanaka one, as you say, probably should have been a goal, but for that defensive intervention. And then Struijk, who's such a good header of the ball, is totally unmarked.
Ball into the box. Sk just doesn't fall for him. Being the story for the Red Devils. It's just, I think they're playing some good stuff. I mean, Leeds United are playing some excellent stuff. I mean, they're definitely being the better side. And I think when they went 2-0, you said maybe they don't deserve to be 2-0 up by half time. They definitely deserve to be 2-0 up as far as I'm concerned. But for the Red Devils, I think they're getting into some decent areas, but that final ball, final touch, final strike just isn't really coming their way. Yeah,
we said that, didn't we, about 20 minutes or so ago, Lewis. I think they've been a little bit better since then. They've at least had a few efforts on target. Haven't really tested Carl Darlow. He hasn't really been forced into much of a save, has he? But you're right, it's that final action, the final third, whether it be the shot or the pass or a touch, it's just not quite right. It's rustiness, I think, from Manchester United. We made quite a big point before the game of the fact that they haven't played for 24 days. Leeds have not played in the league for almost as long, 23, but of course they had that FA Cup game.
Yeah, there's always a question, is too much rest good for you?
Yeah.
Is midweek, when teams are playing at the weekend midweek, is that too much, or is that you find your rhythm? It's always a big question, I can imagine, especially at the top of the sport as these two sides are. Less than 10 seconds of the first half to go. Ball swung by Ugarte. It's going to trickle out for a corner or a throw-in for the Red Devils. No, it's not. That's a lovely play from Bogle. Doesn't bring Shaw down, but he just puts him in a situation where he has to go down there. So waiting on the referees, a whistle for half-time. There it goes from Paul Tierney. An exceptional first half for Leeds United. They nearly scored another goal in the last few seconds of the first half. And Okafor brace means at half-time at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2.
Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 1. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 1. Half-time. Leeds United 1. Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in Dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was actually won by Yoro, but it fell right into the path of the Swiss international. He made no mistake with his first-time finish. He did get a bit of fortune about his second as it dropped him on the edge of the area. His volley took a massive deflection and flew past the goalkeeper. Two big chances for a third as well for Leeds United late on. Manchester United looking rusty. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in dreamland coming into the break, and it's a brace from Noah Okafor. The first was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side. The header was and it's a warm welcome back to this off-tube independent studio-based commentary and our coverage of this second half at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. The visitors in a really strong position after an energetic, passionate and high-quality first 45 minutes. Michael Carrick with his side have got it all to do. A mountain to climb at home in this second half. No changes by the looks of it between the two sets of 11 players, and no changes in terms of the commentators either. It's myself, Tom Wilson, joined again by Lewis Raftery for this second half. We were talking at half-time. Lewis, it's definitely a deserved lead for the Whites, but the next goal, if one comes, is absolutely crucial, isn't it? If Leeds get it, it's probably game over. If Manchester United get it, it's game on.
Yeah, 100%. We were just speaking before we went on the air at half-time that for me, it's the first 10-15 minutes, the hour mark will be massive, because if it's still 2-0, tensions will rise. Maybe Leeds will think, it's not too much risk to reward. If they get a third, as you rightfully said, I think that's game over. If the Red Devils get the goal, it's spot on. It's game on. Half an hour to get a goal at least, or 2 goals, they'll push for it. And it's important that we spoke about as well in the first half. Leeds put so much energy into that first half. Could they start to fade? Of course, substitutions can be made, but this side is full of energy and full of work rate. So I don't see that happening, but there's also a possibility.
Well, of course, Manchester United are very dangerous as Dominic Calvert-Lewin tries to get something going down the left-hand side. Wanted a penalty there as Yoro was pulling him back, but no real protests from anyone in a white shirt. Martinez is in a little bit of a hole in the corner on the right-hand side, helped up by Casemiro, but his ball straight to Ampadu. That's opened up for Bogle on the edge. Then Aronson round the corner, back to Bogle, skips past the challenge. Won eventually, though, by Manchester United. Ugarte brings it away. He's bundled into by Brendan Aronson. That'll be a free kick to the hosts. 47 minutes gone. Manchester United nil, Leeds at 2. Yoro there. He's had his hands full, hasn't he, this evening with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and once again, it's a coming together, minimal contact. It's not a penalty. Here goes Sk, though, up the other end, trying to get in between goal. He gets a shot on goal. It's cleared off the line by James Justin. It was a one-man show there, Benjamin Šeško. Well, our off-tube screens had panned away from the action. We couldn't see the ball initially from Shaw. It's down the line to Šeško through the legs of Beale. Tried to get in between the defenders and the goalkeeper. Luckily, there's a block and a clearance. I'll bring Lewis in just a second. It's a lively start to the second half. Corner for Manchester United on the far side. Bruno lofts it in towards the front post, nodded away by Okafor. Martinez sends it back in, Calvert-Lewin underneath it. It's bobbling around inside the area, no one really able to get a strong foot on it. Ampadu then can bring it away. He'll clear down the right-hand side, looking for Aronson. Round the corner to Bogle, and now Leeds are on the break. It's 4v3. Bogle fouled there by Luke Shaw. It's going to be a free kick. It's going to be a yellow card as well for Luke Shaw because Manchester United were in trouble. What a start to the second half.
Picked up where we left off. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think the Red Devils have come out with a bit of proof, as we would expect, but that was a lovely near counter-attack for Leeds United. Shaw has to just take the cynical yellow card there. He has to do it. It's a 2-on-1 against Mazraoui. If Bogle takes another touch, he probably plays it to the left. They've got a 2-on-1. Bogle and Aronson would have been flying forward as well. I know you don't want a yellow card for your left back so early on in the second half, 6th of the season for the England international, but he's just got to take it there. That could have been 3-0 and game over, couldn't it? So you'd rather take a yellow card. But just back to that Šeško shot, I think it's great from Strike because he's sliding in to put Šeško off. He doesn't get a clean strike. Great save and great block off the line as well from Justin.
Free kick from Tanaka, headed away though by Ugarte. Underneath that one on the edge of the area is Aronson. Has to go backwards towards halfway. Recycles through Jaden Bogle. Bogle with one touch, then a looping ball over the top, looking once again for Aronson, but that's overhit. It's out of play for a Manchester United goal kick. Well, the Red Devils are dangerous. As I was saying before, they have the third best attack in the Premier League. Only the top two have scored more than them. But it's the goals conceded that have been the problem. Only Brentford have conceded more of teams in the top 10 coming into today. Case in point, Lewis, isn't it? We might see them score, but they've conceded two and they've given themselves an uphill battle.
I mean, similar to, I know you've mentioned Brentford there, I always think of Bournemouth. They're always going to score at Bournemouth, but they're always going to concede very much out there. I think it's the same with Michael Carrick's side, whether it's under Ruben Amorim or under him. I think their first clean sheet of the season, it was 1-0 against Sunderland, and then the second one was, I think, on Boxing Day against Newcastle in a 1-0 when Patrick Dorgu scored. So that's shown they haven't kept many clean sheets under Carrick either. So I think that just shows that, yes, they're fantastic. They're always box office to watch, then, aren't they? That you know you're going to get goals. But at the moment, Leeds United are even keeping them out as well.
No loss at home for Manchester United since November. That's 9 games unbeaten at Old Trafford, but that record looking like it might be dwindling because Leeds are 2-0 up away from home. 5 minutes into the second half. Here's Shaw on the left-hand side of the final third. Plays it backwards to Bruno Fernandes and then laterally for Martinez. Back to Bruno Fernandes. Support Shaw on the left-hand side. Moves infield instead. Cunha takes over. A little bit of fortune as he gets past Brendan Aronson. Corner of the box on the left-hand side. Cunha tries a ball into the area. Deflected to the path of Bruno Fernandes. Round the corner to Shaw. Left-hand side. Edge of the area once again. Bruno Fernandes pulls the trigger. That's blocked. Should be cleared and is by Brendan Aronson. 51 minutes gone. Manchester United 0. Leeds United 2. Throw-in taken quickly by Shaw to Cunha. Back to Shaw. Then he finds Martinez. Recycles through Yoro near halfway. He strides forward towards the final third. To his right is Mazraoui. Then back towards this near side for Martinez. Into the channel on this left-hand side for Shaw. Ball into the area is blocked by Aronson. A lot of defensive work required in the last few minutes for the visitors.
Yeah, I think that's great from Aronson. The ball comes in, and it's right into the arms of Darlow there. That's the problem that United have got is Leeds are 2-0 up, so you're pushing for 2 goals anyway. And now I think they are seeing, well, I think they're weathering a Red Devil storm, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think they do press high, don't they, when they can. But that's the problem. You're swinging the ball into the box where Leeds have got 3 centre-backs, and you've basically got Šeško, Casemiro's joining him at times. There's not that many bodies in there, is there? Diallo's not inside, and if he was, what is he, 5'9", 5'8", he's not really heading stuff. It's the same for Cunha, so it's going to be a really awkward half for the Red Devils to even get a goal. I think, if anything, when they were playing out from the back, you've got to take that risk, because you've got to get Leeds out of this mid-block that they're sat in and create space in behind. To do that, you've got to take a risk and play it in your half a little bit.
52 minutes gone. Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Noah Okafor with the double in the first half. But the hosts with the best chance of the second. Šeško's effort cleared off the line. Headed over at close distance. And it's been all Manchester United in the last few minutes. Here's Yoro inside his own half. Across to Martinez. It was his sliding challenge which denied Tanaka a Leeds third at the end of the first half. Here's Shaw. Touches it away from Aronson, back for Cunha. 1-2 between those two. Then towards halfway for Martinez. Recycled through the Argentine. He finds the feet of the Uruguayan, Ugarte. To Casemiro. Ball into the area is really poor. It's over here. It's out for a goal kick. Well, that is simple enough, and Leeds will take that all day.
Yeah, and that's not Casemiro's strong point. In this double pivot with him and Ugarte, he's the playmaker, he's a passer, and Ugarte is the ball-winning, the destroyer of a midfielder. That's what Casemiro should be. That's why I think him and Manu work so well. And it's all about profiles. You've got two ball winners as defensive midfielders instead of one being if you had Manu and Ugarte, that would be a nice pairing as well. And I just think they're suffering because of that. So we've already just seen the Michael Carrick and Steve Holland having a chat in the Red Devils dugout. So we spoke about when did maybe changes come. It might be the next 5 minutes or so.
Ugarte out towards the far side. Mazraoui down the line. Strout gets there first. Gudmundson's there for support. Now here's Tanaka, the man that they always look for, the team in white. Here's Bogle on the right hand side. Dinks it forward into the channel for Aronson, giving the American a lot to do. He did get there first, then slips in possession, and he's dispossessed. Ugarte has it. And forward Manchester United come the other way, albeit a little bit slower than Leeds had come previously. Shaw in field to Ugarte. Nearly 10 minutes gone in this second half. Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. Ugarte with a couple of touches. And then out towards the right hand side for Yoro. Back to Ugarte. Referee's blown his whistle. Stopped play for some reason. Not really sure what the reason is. He's been asked, I think, to go to VAR potentially. Well, there was Dominic Calvert-Lewin had gone down as that ball came over the top. It was about 2 minutes ago now, Lewis, really. The ball had come over the top. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was making a point to Paul Turney about something with his hair or with his head. It looks like Martinez has pulled his ponytail.
Yeah, it does. And there's also a bit of not a right arm from Calvert-Lewin, but there is. And I mean, you can see also because the ponytail comes undone, doesn't it, from Calvert-Lewin? So you can see it's definitely been pulled at. I mean, if that's a red card, though, that is abysmal, I think. Personally.
Yeah, that would be a weak red card, wouldn't it? I mean, Paul Turney's been asked to go and look just to confirm by VAR. The VAR this evening is John Brooks. He's asked the referee to go and have a look at this. Yes, there's a hand from Lisandro Martinez on the hair of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I don't think it's enough for a red card. Paul Turney's had a few looks at it. He's coming back onto the field. He's now making his decision. He's indicating that he's watched the screen. We don't have the benefit of the audio inside Old Trafford, so we can't confirm exactly what Paul Turney is saying to the crowd in Manchester. But 10 minutes gone in the second half. He's reaching for his pocket, and it's going to be a red card. Paul Turney is sending off Lisandro Martinez, the Manchester United centre-back. A Manchester United centre-back has been sent off for the second time in as many games. The Argentine pulling the hair of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's seen red, down to 10. If Leeds weren't in a brilliant position before now, they certainly are now, Lewis.
Oh, that's massive, and I am absolutely gobsmacked. That's a red card. It's very silly from Lisandro Martinez for him to pull the ponytail of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And I say pull it, he doesn't drag him to the ground and pull it. I think that's a completely different story. If he grabs the ponytail of the long hair of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and he drags him to the ground, let's say, that's quite violent conduct as far as I'm concerned. They're both going up for a header. Martinez is behind. Calvert-Lewin's backing into him. Calvert-Lewin's got a bit of a right arm on Martinez. Nothing wrong with that. Martinez's got a bit of the left arm in the back of Calvert-Lewin. They're both battling for the ball. They're both adults and football players. And Martinez is a little bit silly and a little bit immature and childish of just pulling the ponytail. But for it to be a straight red card, I can't quite believe that.
The argument, Lewis, would be that he doesn't need to do that at all.
100%.
You know, no, there's a difference between having a little bit of a pull of a shirt and having a real pull of the shirt. But when it's a body part, you can understand why he's been sent off. I mean, it's not for us, it's not for Paul Turney to say quite how much contact there's been and quite how painful that is for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Pulling hair is pulling hair, and that's not allowed. I can see that, but I can also see that is a really silly challenge to make from Martinez, and you can argue an unnecessary red card.
100%. My only assumption could also be that's a bit of frustration from Martinez, because we spoke about Calvert-Lewin. It's been men versus boys for him and up against Bob, but here come Leeds.
Yeah, Justin, right hand side, ball across the face of goal. Okafor nearly there, couldn't quite make contact, but does keep it alive. Here's Goodmanson, left-hand side, trying to burst away from Mazraoui. Fernandez comes across to deal with him, and it's going to be a Leeds United corner. Well, 58 minutes gone. Manchester United down to 10. Martinez sent off just minutes ago. They're down to 10. They're also down by 2-0. There's going to be a Leeds United corner kick here, and Paul Turney's having a word with the Manchester United captain. Well, frustrations will certainly be high. They were booed off, by the way, at half-time, the home fans booing off their own team. We didn't really mention that in the opening 30 minutes of this second half, but we can see now this Leeds corner. It will be Tanaka who goes across to take it. He's got 6 or 7 inside the area in white shirts to aim for. Left arm in the air from Tanaka, then right boot at the ball, high, lofted towards the back post. The heads go up, Dominic Calvert-Lewin wins it, but never really makes a meaningful contact. It's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, from Bruno Fernandes' point of view, I mean, it was a corner all day long. I think it came last off Mazraoui, so I understand his frustrations. No need to have got a referee like that. It was always a corner, but I can understand because he couldn't see who the ball came off last. He did his bit because, as far as he could see, it last came off Goodmanson, but then Mazraoui almost slipped over the ball to a degree as well. And the problem for United now is, it looks like Casemiro's just dropped in as a centre-back. You can't make a defensive change because you're already 2-0 down, aren't you? So you have to keep that front four on. If anything, just make attacking offensive changes. You can't say, well, I'll bring a centre-back on. If they were 2-0 up, you'd do that, wouldn't you? But 2-0 down, you have to keep on the front foot and just accept you might concede a third or maybe a fourth, and it could get embarrassing.
Well, yeah, this could be a monumental win for Daniel Farke's side. Still over half an hour to go in normal time, plus any stoppages. And you would think that Manchester United have still got enough quality in the team, enough quality in the squad to at least ask a question of the visitors, but they have not been on it at all this evening. Leeds United, brilliant in the first half. Understandably, a dip in energy and momentum and an attacking impetus, Lewis, in the second half, but perhaps not now.
No, and now it's about what the players have about them, aren't there? And I think a lot of talk, obviously, Michael Carrick's interim still, nothing's being made official. I won't be surprised if it's not made official until the summer of who the future long-term boss at Old Trafford will be. But what I will say is, regardless of tactics, as Ugarte once again gives it away, but he makes a great tackle there. Ball from Fernandes to Diallo, that's always offside. For me, tactics or not, the players in white have wanted it more than the players in red this evening.
Here they come. The team in white down the left-hand side. Okafor, the double goal scorer, has a look into the area. Left-footed ball towards Calvert-Lewin, nodded away by Yoro. Only as far as Justin on the edge. He lines one up, hits one, deflected by Yoro, and out of play for another Leeds corner.
It fell nicely for Justin. He took a touch, and again, that's extra man, isn't it? Because maybe that's where a midfielder would be. Martinez, Casemiro might have been there. Felt nicely for him. It might have been just going wide, but takes a deflection, another corner, and we saw that stat as well about set pieces. Was it 35% of Leeds' goals have come from set pieces? Now with an extra man as well, where who's marking who, that could be a bit of a problem with who was Martinez marking. Now they've got to mark him. It could be an opportunity for Leeds to get another goal from set pieces because of that man advantage.
Well, a third would certainly be a welcomed buffer for Daniel Farke's side. With the 3 points, they'll be 6 points above the relegation zone. Ball into the area from Tanaka. It's nodded at that front post away, though, by Manchester United. Cunha's able to clear up towards halfway. Bogle underneath it, nods it back into the final third. Mazraoui underneath it. Biol then sends it back towards that left-hand side. In towards the area looking for Calvert-Lewin. That's overhit. It's going to bobble through on this left-hand side. Shaw will keep it in. Well, away from home, only Burnley and Wolves have been worse points-wise than Leeds United. They've only won once on the road. That was a 3-1 victory against bottom side Wolverhampton Wanderers. And in 7 of the previous 8, including the last 4, Leeds have ended away from home with a draw. You would think if it's a draw after this brilliant foundation, Lewis, that Leeds fans would be really frustrated.
Oh, 100%. Because the first hour of football, they've been absolutely fantastic, and now the man advantage. They're going to do what they're doing now. Just knock it around, get some possession, but play the ball. You've got your wing backs, try and use them as a man advantage. You've got on the left hand side for United Cunha and Shaw both on yellow cards, and you're already down to 10 men of the Red Devils. If I was Daniel Farke, I'd be saying it's like Aronson and Bogle. Well, add Justin as well, that triangle, if you will, on the right side. Go at those two. Try and get him down to 9 men. Try and really put it to him this evening. This has been exceptional. You brought up that great stat, was it 45 years since they won in the league? And at the moment, apart from a miracle from the Red Devils, it's going to be a successful, monumental, and again, 45 years since they won in the league, but 6 points as well above Spurs. That could be the Premier League survival for Leeds confirmed, really.
Ampadu down the left-hand side. Here's Goodmanson, steams away from a couple of challenges. Goodmanson going towards the final third. Gabriel Goodmanson pulls the trigger. It's head in hands, though, from the Swede. It's out of play for a goal kick. That's the energy, though, that he brings, as well as Ampadu, who had won the ball previously. Just gets away from 2 challenges. It's all too easy, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And to me, that's where I think there'll be a lot of stick given maybe to Michael Carrick because he's the coach. But I sit there and go, Gabriel Goodmanson just ran past 3 Manchester United players. Don't matter what tactics you have. Don't matter what philosophy you have. That is just Mazraoui didn't want to keep up with him. Ugarte was in a poor position. Yoro has to come over and help, but then Yoro's out of position. I just think they've been so poor, the players on the pitch for United this evening. But again, I said this to you at half time, I don't want to take that away from the Leeds performance because they've been absolutely on it. They've wanted it more from minute one. They've been pressing more. They've been more energetic. That might be poor out from the back. That's poor from Diallo because, yes, it's soft, but he put his hands on strike there. You're giving him an opportunity to go down.
Yeah, free kick to Leeds. Diallo would put Strike in a little bit of a sticky situation there. And you just felt that maybe the former Ajax academy man could have just put the ball out of play. Gets a slight nudge from Amad Diallo and goes down for a free kick. You can understand there's a wry smile on Amad Diallo's face, Lewis, and there's arms in air in Old Trafford because I think they feel that the referee, Paul Turney, is against them.
I think you can see that. You see it from players, for example. I covered the Spurs Sunderland game at the weekend. Colin Mawani didn't get nothing from the referee. So I can imagine as a player you go, are you going to give me anything today, ref? I might get 2-footed and you're not going to give me anything. So I agree. And also, look, Diallo, 5'8" against striker who's 6 foot plus, big defender. He doesn't look it. But Diallo, it was that left arm, that left push that you go, you can't do that because the defender can easily go down. Fernandes picks up a yellow card as well.
Ball over the top to Cunha, nearly taken off his toes by James. Shot comes in. It's a brilliant stop from Darlow. The ball was almost behind the Welsh international, but Cunha has done brilliantly to create that opportunity. It's 1 ball over the top. Let's not forget, Manchester United down to 10 here. They're playing with 1 less man. He still gets past 3 in Leeds white. Only denied by the goalkeeper, out for a corner.
Yeah, it was great defending to get back there, but it was a high line, and they do win a set piece and a chance to get a goal back into it. If United do get a goal, it's still his game on, regardless of being down a man.
Right arm in the air from Bruno Fernandes, right foot at the ball, lofted towards the back post. The heads go up, won by Casemiro, flicked towards goal by Yoro. It's almost into the back of the net there, but for the interception of Carl Darlow. 65 minutes on the clock. He quickly punts it forward towards Bogle. It's 3v3. Leeds United. Here come Bogle through the legs of the defender. Brilliant recovery challenge from Cunha. Centre forward, more like centre half there from the Brazilian. He stops Jayden Bogle in his tracks. It's end to end because Lemons has quickly bowled it out towards Fernandes. Now here's Shaw. Manchester United looking to catch the visitors on the break. Left hand side is Casemiro. Ball into the area towards a penalty spot. Flicked away by Gabriel Goodmanson. A vital touch in there from the Swede. I think most inside Old Trafford probably waiting for an opportunity to catch their breath, but here come Leeds.
I mean, I say, was that more of a ball from Darlow as well? I don't know how he threw it or he booted it, but that was great. But yeah, you're right. Great defending from Cunha. If I'm being uber critical of Bogle, could he have played it to the left-hand side? Really a little bit selfish? I don't know. There was a run to his left-hand side. I want to say it was Okafor, might have been. I can't remember who it was. But that might have been the better option. But still, if it's not... That's, I think, if you're at Old Trafford, a Manchester United fan, you're down to 10 men, you want to see that from Cunha. That's what'll get this team going, is someone going, right, we're down a man, I'm going to go do Lisandro Martinez's job as a centre forward. I'm going to show that, right, we're down a man, but they've needed that all night. So that might be a bit of a pump up of the chest moment for Manchester United.
66 minutes on the clock. Manchester United 0, Leeds United 2. If you're just joining us 3/4 of the way through the game, you're listening to Off-Tube Independent Studio Based at commentary. Noah Okafor put Leeds in front after 5 minutes, doubled their lead after 30. The second with a touch of fortune as it deflected off a Manchester United man before going into the back of the net. In the first half, by the way, Cunha was booked for diving. Justin was booked for a heavy challenge. In the second half, for the host, Luke Shaw and Bruno Fernandes are in the book, but sandwiched between those, was a straight red for Lisandro Martinez. Sent off after a VAR check by Paul Turney. Judge Shaw pulled the hair of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The reaction to that has been mixed, to say the least, and you can imagine from Manchester United fans They do not agree with it. Ball forward towards Sk. Holds it up well. Tries to bring in Mazraoui. Taking off his toes though. Here's Tanaka. And now towards the left-hand side for Okafor. He's away from Bruno Fernandes. And it's 3v2. Ball through to Brendan Aronson. He's not good enough. Okafor rushed that one. And it's stolen back by the Red Devils. They're able to come forward now once again. It is breathless. It's end-to-end. And Manchester United are desperate for a way back into the game. Could it come now? Casemiro down the left for Cunha. Into the final third. Overlapping run from Casemiro. Uses the Brazilian. Tries to touch it away from Bogle. It's off the fullback and out for a Manchester United corner. Well, as I say, we are 3/4 of the way through this game. We have a quarter left. Again, it's been a brilliant start to this second half. 67.5 minutes on the clock. I'll hand over to Lewis to take you through to full time.
Cheers, Tommy. It's been quite breathless, hasn't it? It
Yeah.
was a great first half, and you always think, can you keep, because of the quality and the demands of the physicality and the tempo, can it keep up with everything? I think it's just increased, hasn't it? United going to make 2 substitutions, though, but not before, after this corner kick into Cunha. A curling effort takes a few deflections out for the corner on the other side. Deflected away off of Biol was in Bermu and Delors, who are being prepared to come on. Can imagine this corner will be taken as well. Manchester United going from right to left, attacking the Stretford end in the second half, whereas Leeds United going from left to right. So it will be from the far side from our independent off-tube studio commentary pictures. In swinger from Diallo. It's a poor one, no one at the front post at all. Again, that might be that man advantage. Out to Fernandes, he's going to swing a ball into the box. At the back post, Casemiro's there! And Manchester United grab a goal. A beating of the chest moment for the Brazilian. He's been so vital from set pieces, from goals, big goals this season. They're about to make a double change. I don't know if they might hold off now. They've got that goal back. Another assist for Fernandes. Tom's already mentioned 6 more than anyone else this season. Make it 7 and make it 17 for the captain. Only question will be, is he onside? It's close, but I think he just gets back on 1-2 in favour of Leeds United.
Yeah, I think he's just level, if not slightly behind Biol. It's a brilliant header from Casemiro. He's had such an interesting game. You could say he was at fault for the Leeds United second as he gave the ball away on the edge of the area. I think he's made up for that now. It's a brilliant header back across the face of goal, but it's all about the cross, isn't it? As you mentioned, Bruno Fernandes, he's clearly been riled up by that sending off. He's been booked himself. He needs to channel that into his ability to change this game on its head, because he does have the ability. 17 assists this season is unbelievable. That might be a very important one.
Well, we'll have to see where we go from here, but as Tom said, we've been treated to an excellent evening of football at Old Trafford, and I think it's just going to go more and more. Ahmad off, Mazraoui off, Dalot and in Bermu on like-for-like changes. A right winger for a right winger, a right back for a right back, but also it's a change of that entire side's now being changed. So maybe from a United point of view, Manchester United point of view, me and Tom were saying this half-time, the amount of times we have to say Manchester United and Leeds United, both teams very much known as United, that also now you've got a fresh right hand, you've got a fresh side of players, haven't you, that fresh legs onto the field of play. That left-hand side's got yellow cards all over it, so maybe that's changes later on, but I'm sure now Old Trafford will be thinking, could we even go and get an equaliser here?
Yeah, in this second half, particularly, Lewis, you could just see that the right-hand side for the host was faltering ever so slightly. Goodmanson was just, and Okafor was just getting a little bit too much luck, a little bit too much fortune. You can understand why he's changed that side, because that's where most of the danger has been.
Fernandes pokes it forward to the right-hand side. Opportunity for the first few touches for the Portuguese full-back Dalot. Few step-overs, cuts inside, back into the skipper Fernandes. He'll swing another ball in for Casemiro, back across the face of goal. Was well defended for a second in Bermu with the overhead kick. Cleared away though, Fernandes knocks it back in. Ampadu heads it away. That's terrible from Ugarte. I'm surprised that's not a yellow card unless the referee, Paul Tierney, he's going to get his card out. Aronson just heads it over and Ugarte lazy leg out as far as I'm concerned. Foul for Leeds, and that's just maybe a breather now for the Whites, just to have a second, because I know they've got a man up, but right there you can see so many players push back. They need to push a bit forward.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of a moment, aren't they, Manchester United? And again, it goes back to that point I made, the psychological element, the fact that Leeds gave away a 2-0 lead in the FA Cup quarter-final against West Ham last time out. Yes, they won on penalties, but that still has to take effect. Leeds just need to calm things down. They just need to settle, because at the moment they look a little bit rattled.
I'll say as well, I want to say that's definitely the 8th goal of the season, all 8 in the league as well for Casemiro. Of course, the Red Devils, no European competition for them, and only the one FA Cup clash this season. Of course, only one EFL clash as well. They were knocked out of the second round of the EFL Cup by Grimsby and 2-1 at home to Brighton in the third round of the FA Cup, so it's more in terms of league games this season. It's his 8th goal, but I believe it's 7 with headers.
Yeah, well, that defeat against Brighton, that was the last time they lost at home, wasn't it? They haven't lost in the league, as I said, at home in 9, not since November. In fact, throughout the whole season, they've been the third best home team in the league, only 2 defeats in the league, Everton and Arsenal. So they have been really solid at home, and again, we don't have the benefit of the audio inside Old Trafford, but I bet that Stretford end was going crazy when that went in.
I can imagine it was absolutely rocking, and I think you're spot on there. Problem here possibly for Leeds United. Looks like they're already readying a change, but they might have to make another one as well. Tanaka is down. Looks like it might be a bit of a calf. It's like it's a right leg injury. Whether it's his calf, he's getting stretched out. Could be his hamstring. Well, hopefully it's more of a 72 minutes of non-stop action. It might just be a bit of fatigue and a bit of cramp, because he's been absolutely excellent. He was a player that was absolutely brilliant last season in the Championship. Now we're just going to start most assists this season, that Tom's already spoke about. Ryan Shirky with 10, Bowen 8, Haaland with 7, James Garner with 6, Bruno Fernandes on 17. So absolutely fantastic from the skipper, pushing down the 20. Was it Henry got 20 and De Bruyne has had 20? So we're looking for that 21 that would break the record.
Yeah, a bit of a theme in there, really, given that Haaland's in there, Shirky's in there, Jared Bowen's in there. That's 2 of those 3. Are players who've carried their team, haven't they, for the majority of the season. Haaland's goals are so often so important for Manchester United, and of course Bowen scores an assist for West Ham almost every single week. Here come those Leeds changes.
Yeah, well, a double change coming up. Seeing that Okafor is coming off, and it will be Tanaka as well. As I was saying about him, as he is about to come off, he's been brilliant in the Championship last season. He might have even won Championship Player of the Season. He was great for Leeds. I think he struggled a little bit at the start of the season to adapt to the Premier League. Maybe it was the systems, but I'd say these last couple of weeks and months from what I've seen of him, he's kind of picked back up to some fantastic form. Yeah,
he's in and out of the team for Daniel Farke. I think it's so dependent, Lewis, on who they're playing and what system they're playing. They, of course, switched as well from a 4 at the back to a 5/3 in that defeat against Manchester City at the Etihad, and that kept him out of the team a little bit as well, because I don't think Farke was sure on him. I think with 2 central midfielders, he wanted that height in Stack and of course that energy and that defensive solidity from Ampadu. But when he plays Tanaka, I think he looks brilliant. Like he keeps the ball really well, he moves it quickly. I think it suited him playing this evening because they've played at high pace and high energy, and he likes to move the ball quickly, so that suited him. Obviously he's injured here, so hopefully he's okay, because Leeds of course are missing Rodon and Stack as well.
Yeah, we're not sure. We were speaking for half time about Stack. Not sure how long he will be out for. So again, if you add Tanaka to that could be a really big double injury in the middle of the field. Here come Leeds. I will bring in the substitutions in just a moment. Bogle on the right hand side, back in the middle to Ampadu. So double change. Off goes Okafor. So you'll have to just accept a brace here this evening at Old Trafford. Just a brace. And Tanaka follows him. Nonto and Gruev on. So I can imagine it's not too much of a tactic swap. It'll be very, very similar. Legs in the same position. And if you're Daniel Farke, I don't really blame him. 75 minutes on the clock. Independent off-tube studio commentary of this massive rivalry reunited at Old Trafford this evening. It's Manchester United 1, Leeds United 2. But Leeds United up by 1 and up by a man as well. They took the lead after a brace in the first half through Noah Okafor. Went in at half-time, 2 goals to the good. And then a straight red card for a VAR review for violent conduct from Lisandro Martinez means that Manchester United have been down a man. They did get a goal back though through Casemiro. Sets us up nicely for the last just about 15 minutes or so of this clash. The Whites though have the advantage, and those 2 subs could be vital. We're on the ball with Ampadu now. Again, they're just trying to control this game. Casemiro might wipe him out there. The referee's going to let it play on us. It does end up being a nice pass out to Bogle. He's on a 1-on-1 against Shaw, who's on a yellow card. Fizzes a ball into the box, but blocked away by the England left back. Is it out for a throw-in or a corner? I believe it's a throw-in for Bogle. But now that's the thing. I feel Leeds are trying to play very left-hand side heavy. Stretch that so Bogle can keep that space on the right, because that left-hand side for United are both on yellow cards. Try and get them on 1-on-1 situations.
Yeah, it certainly makes sense, doesn't it? They've got the extra man as well. So left, right, doesn't matter really which way they go. If they can create an overload, then they're going to have some success, because of course there's one less player on the pitch for Manchester United. That might mean that they have to either leave Sk up there on his own or bring him back at some point. If they do the former, there'll be even one less.
Ball into the box from Ampadu. It was a long throw in. And what's it, Old Trafford? I know the advertising boards will get in the way, but of how it is, it almost slopes down, doesn't it? So imagine long throw-ins. You can't really get a good run up there at Old Trafford. So it was a poor one from Ampadu, but it's a situation. We've seen teams who do have straight, for example, flat sides of the pitch. We have seen them move the advertising boards. At Old Trafford, unfortunately, that's how the pitch is all the way around. It's almost raised from the floor. Nothing comes from it. It's booted long from the back, and now long ball forward finds Calvert-Lewin, nods it to the left hand side, and Nonso has an opportunity to run for the first time. The left hand side pokes it forward through to Aronson. 1-2. The Italian back to the American. Strike. And maybe United, the Red Devils, just thinking, can we sit for a second? Again, as you said as well, and it can't last for a full 90. It practically lasted for a full 70 minutes of tempo. Just dropped off for a moment, but Leeds are coming forward. Bogle on the right-hand side. He's got Nonso. Looks like he was an offside position for a long time, but got him back on side. Takes it past Casemiro. Ball back into the box. A vital clearance from Yoro. That's a heavy touch though from Justin. Foul there by Cunha perhaps. Referee says no. On a yellow card, he's got to be careful. Bogle on the right, dinks it into Calvert-Lewin. Opportunity! It's straight at the goalkeeper. Lemens was nowhere near to saving that. Calvert-Lewin maybe got his jumper on, maybe, I'm not too sure. But straight at the goalkeeper. Good save nonetheless. But for me, that should have been 3-1 and game over.
As a number 9, as a player who's made a career of being a big, tall, strong, good header of the ball, you cannot ask for a better chance than that. The ball is laid on a plate, he's unmarked, he's on the edge of the 6-yard box, the goalkeeper is right in the middle. It means he has the pick of either side. He just has to go either side. He goes right down the middle, he goes right down the goalkeeper's throat. It's a good reaction. He still has to get his hands in the way, but it's a simple save.
Here comes in Burma into the penalty area. Strike at goal. What a vital block that is. It'll be another corner. I think Biol even wants a goal kick. He might have taken a double kiss. That was poor at the back. It was Sk. Ball over the top from Casemiro. And Burma, good first few touches. It does come back off in Burma. I don't know if they have caught that, but that's excellent defending from Biol. He would have gone up more likely for a throw-in than a corner, but it was last off the Cameroonian. I do believe a goal kick should have been given. We're just waiting. It is independent off-tube studio commentary pictures. We were watching a replay of Calvert-Lewin's strike. We come back to live pictures, and Burmu was in the box. It is a goal kick, right decision from, I can imagine, maybe the linesman had a better option there than the goalkeeper there, but great defending from Leeds United. But you're right, we especially saw that Calvert-Lewin had a chance from behind the goal. That's the better one, isn't it? Because as you say, a goalkeeper, it's a world-class save for me from Lemens, because you can only do as a goalkeeper what's given to you, and it's great reaction as you say. But yeah, if that's to the right or left of the goalkeeper, that's 3-1. Calvert-Lewin gets his goal, and I think it's game over. Still, game is on. Just over 10 minutes of the 90 to go. Ball into the box. Cunha takes the touch, goes for a strike. It's at the near post and straight at the goalkeeper. And I think Manchester United are even accepted. We might concede a third, going for a second, but we're going to push for a second regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to, don't they, Lewis? I mean, they're down by a goal. The tails were up when the goal went in, when they got that one back. We've seen that dissipate ever so slightly, and they're very open again.
At the moment, you can see Ugarte, one of the furthest players back on the left-hand side, Calvert-Lewin. You want him in the box, and I think he's almost going, no, I'm going to play that back, and I'll make my way into the box, into Nonto. He's been very lively since coming on. Goodmanson, he's had a fantastic game. Pokes it forward, looking for Calvert-Lewin. Just a little bit off the same wavelength there. Casemiro, Fernandes lets it run. Dangerous area. It's picked up by Ampadu. Calvert-Lewin back to Aronson. Fernandes does well to win the ball. Delors into Casemiro. That's a poor reverse, a blind pass from the Brazilian. And Leeds win it back with Nonto. Lovely back heel to Goodmanson. He's been one of the better players for me. How's the Swede? Ball into the box. Has to be dealt with by Ugarte. He does. Leeds United pushing and pulling Manchester United back, but you can just see that right hand side in Burma is almost, and it'll be a tactical tweak. I can imagine he's been told, just stay a little bit further forward. We're going to try and put that ball into you. Delors will support you. At the moment, just less than 10 minutes of the 90 to go. It's Manchester United 1, Leeds United 2. What a result this would be for the Whites. Looking at the stats in the second half alone, 9 shots for the Red Devils, 3 for Leeds. 5 on target for Manchester United, only 1 on target. Calvert-Lewin's header just a few moments ago for Leeds United. That's a poor header in by Ampadu. He's had a great game, but that's his first poor piece of play. Casemiro picks it up to Cunha, plays it through for Sk. Great tackle there at the back by Leeds. Sk, I think he's struggled this evening, but he's been basically up against Biol and Strauch all game long, and he's been quite isolated.
Yeah, he has. You're just getting to the point in the game now where you're just waiting for Leeds to go on and kill it, Lewis, because it's so open. Shot comes in from Grave, it's over the bar. About 3 or 4 minutes there, they were dominating possession. As you mentioned, and Buemo's come on. He's not working back. He's one of a few that aren't really. Whether that's by choice, as you mentioned, from the Michael Carrick. But there is so much space and so much room there for Leeds United to go at Manchester United, who are there for the taking. They have been poor this evening. If Leeds don't win this game, you're just thinking back to the missed chances. That Dominic Calvert-Lewin, most recently Tanaka's cleared off the line by Lisandro Martinez. They've had a few more efforts as well, which have not punished Manchester United. You can see another goal in this game.
It's just who does it go for? I think you're completely right with that. Casemiro has no room. Too many bodies in Leeds United jerseys in front of him, and it's hacked away by Beale. They want for the throw-in though. Of course, 2 changes made by either side. Doesn't seem, of course, players are warming up as most usual for most teams on the sidelines, but no real inkling of changes that I can see in the dugout between either side. And do you think either side are not scared, but a little bit hesitant to make changes right now because of how open the game is and seeing how it goes? Yeah,
potentially. I mean, we saw like-for-like changes for Manchester United. I think that's helped sort of stem the flow on the far side ever so slightly, and it's given them a little bit more impetus as well going forward. And Buemo's, of course, a willing runner on either channel. Leeds have made one forced change to Naka for Grue. The other was like-for-like Okafor off for Nonto. I haven't seen enough from Nonto. He should be full of energy. Yeah. He should be going at the defence. He's not.
That played on the right-hand side for a second, didn't he? Apart from that, we haven't really seen him. Corner for the Red Devils on the near side. Fernandes already got an assist this evening. Can he grab another? Ball right into the back sticks. Heads go up. It's cleared away by Beale. And it goes out. It might have taken a nick off of Luke Shaw after the header from Beale. So that's really good defending from the Leeds United man.
Yeah, just going to say credit to Manchester United in this second half. Of course, down to 10 men for the majority of the game, but for all of this second period so far, they've had 9 shots. Leeds have only had 4. They've had 5 of those on target, only 1 on target from Leeds United. It was, of course, that big chance for Calvert-Lewin where he could have killed the game. But they haven't really looked like a team, at least going forward, Manchester United, who are down to 10.
100%. But we've just seen a quote from Gary Neville. I assume he's on the commentary section at Old Trafford as well. He's saying Leeds United have got a tactic of a habit of playing keep ball when they're up like this, which isn't a bad habit, but it feels like Leeds United go and score. And that's exactly what you just said. Yes, they're playing some good stuff, but you feel that because Manchester United have thrown so many bodies forward, only 1 goal to get an equaliser. I know they're down 10 men, but you can imagine if they get a goal with due time, they'll push for a third as well.
Or they'll sit back massively, Lewis, put 10 big bodies behind the ball.
Ball from Fernandes out from left to right. Lovely pass to Mbeumo. Hasn't really made an impact since coming on, but he could do with this cross now. It's a decent one. Heads go up. It's saved by the goalkeeper. Falls for Shaw. Puts it back into a dangerous area. Cleared away. It was Sk there. Casemiro was at the back post. It was a striker who got the header there. What a save from Darlow.
Wow, brilliant from Sk to win the header. He's challenging against 3 players, Lewis, and he gets up there above Straug, above Justin, and above Beale. It's a great stop from the goalkeeper, but all the plaudits to the striker. He couldn't have done more.
No, it was decent ball in, but a great header from Sesko. Now a corner comes, header at the back post. It's off the line from Calvert-Lewin, still in a dangerous area. Ugate's strike is blocked away. What a piece of sequence there defensively there from Leeds United. Delors picks it up. Goodmanson picks it up. Counter might be on if he can loop it long. Nonto's got a one-on-one with Delors. Goodmanson will still drive forward. What a sequence of play this is. Nonto, the fresh legs of the Italian. One-on-one past Delors. Lazy leg left out there. Could have been an option, but plays it to Bogle. Takes it inside Cunha. What a tackle that is. He's got to be careful. That could be a second yellow card. Oh, is he going to give the simulation for the Leeds United man? He is. That's very, very kind timing there. Ampadu goes over. It was one of them. You could see it a mile away. Whoever gets the ball first, the other man is going to absolutely fly through the other. Great play from Bogle. Great defending from Cunha. He's been excellent defensive in the second half. Does he clip Ampadu?
I think he jumped. I don't think it's a dive, Lewis. I think he jumps over, trying to avoid, and he goes down. He's not asking for anything. I think it's really harsh. If he's turned around screaming at the referee, I can understand booking for simulation. I think he was just jumping out the way and he couldn't land properly, to be honest. But who knows? Leeds United, though, with an opportunity there to kill the game. I think it's the wrong decision from Bogle. Tries to cut back in on his unfavoured left instead of just poking it through the line to Wilfred Nonto, who'd made a run.
Yeah, that was. I mean, as I say, that sequence of play from back to front, off the line. I'm not quite sure what Manchester United played at the back post headed on, but Calvert-Lewin, I know he hasn't scored and he missed that. For him, a sitter of a header. Not to many players, but he's a world-class striker in the air. But that was a massive moment, clearing that off the line. Ugate's strike, I think that would have been saved anyway by Darlow, looking back at it. But it was a clearance all the same. Nonto, once again down the left-hand side. This game's been fantastic from minute 1 to minute 86 and a half that we're in. Ugarte slips. I think that was last off the Red Devil midfielder. But I'd love to get a chance here. Is it Casemiro? He is. And Calvert-Lewin, that might as well be a goal because he saved them from going in the back of the net.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Again, it's a brilliant header from the man who scored the goal at half the deficit. Casemiro for Manchester United off the line. It's still alive after that as well. Lenny Yoro does brilliantly to poke it back across, and luckily Leeds are able to defend it.
Throwing on the left-hand side. Calvert-Lewin, does he keep it in play? Yes, he does. Here comes Goodmanson on the left-hand side. Can he pick out a pass? No, he can't. Falls on the edge of the area for Ampadu for a strike. That's blocked away. This game is so open. It's like a basketball game. Back and forth, back and forth. Shaw with a tackle on Justin. He has to get that pinpoint because he's on a yellow card. Quick up there as well. Just seeing it. Longstaff did come on from Aronson, so I think that's a big change of bringing an experienced player on hand as well. More of a midfielder, so it might be 3-5-2 now, and an experienced head on the field as well.
Yeah, I thought we might have saw Longstaff when Tanaka went down, but maybe he was already planning on bringing Gurev on potentially and knew that he was going to bring Longstaff on later on. But yeah, he comes on experienced at this level, isn't he? Hopefully Leeds can see this one out.
Delot there, got in front of Nocturne for a second. I thought he really misjudged the ball. Again, a lot of yellow cards for United. Bruno Fernandes is on one. Cunha, Shaw, ball into the box on the right hand side from Bogle. Not the greatest of clearances. Bogle has it. Ugarte, does he foul his man? That might be another yellow card for the Red Devils. I thought that was a silly foul from Ugarte. I don't think he's had the greatest of games in a Red Devil jersey, but as Tom did rightfully point out, it's his first start under Michael Carrick, so hasn't started the game in at least 3.5 months, give or take, when Carrick was appointed as interim manager. So a bit rusty, but now this is a big chance for Leeds United, and just about 2.5 minutes of the 90 left. Stoppage time 4, 5, 6 minutes, anywhere in between that. Because of the VAR review, the goals we've got, the substitutions we've got, maybe a big free kick to finish this game off here. Well,
I think this will tell us everything we need to know, Lewis. They've gone short, and it looks like they're not exactly taking it into the corner. They're going to keep possession, Leeds.
Yeah, I think they don't want to take a risk of lumping the ball in the box, but they also don't want to just go in the corner and kill time. A little bit of the two. Strike being pressed down there. Casemiro almost one of the furthest players forward. I mean, you can't really blame him with the headers and how he's helped out with in the box. He's got a great striker in from distance as well as a Brazilian, and he would have had a brace if not for a great goal line clearance from Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. You'd have to give Calvert-Lewin a lot of praise there, because how many strikers would just want to get back up the field? I've done my defensive duties, let me get back up the field, let me get a goal. He was the one that just the IQ to go, oh, it's in the back, there's no one on the line here. Well, I might need to sit there, because he could have made a run to the right and go forward, and then it's in the back of the net. Credit to him from a defensive, mentally point of view. Yeah, I think maybe he's obviously not the quickest on the counter, Lewis. He's probably used to hanging back a little bit and letting the more speedier players go forward. He's actually just made a really good run there, not been found. So, not quite cursed to the commentator, but I've done him a disservice. Obviously, he picks and chooses his moments, so doesn't he? Trying to get further forward, does the former Toffees forward. For less than 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to go. It's Manchester United 1, Leeds United 2. A brace from Okafor gave the Whites a 2-0 lead. 10-man Manchester United after a red card from Lisandro Martinez for violent conduct. Got a goal back from Casemiro just before the 70th minute mark, and they're chasing an equaliser here. Bruno Fernandes over the top for Luke Shaw, touch into the penalty area, ball back across face of goal. Two players sliding in there to put it out for a corner. Bogle and Justin. There'll be another corner. The last time they had one from this side, it was that Casemiro header, goal line header, clearance from Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Leeds have got worse since Manchester United went down to 10, haven't they? Manchester United are really riled up. That goal has certainly given them a lot of energy. They will fancy an equaliser.
7 minutes of stoppage time. I didn't think they'd have that much, but I think as well 7 minutes, that's where maybe the Red Devils go. That's a lot of time to get warm back. Will be a corner. The Stretford end is where they're attacking. So many late goals for the Red Devils. It's floated to the back sticks for Casemiro. Falls on the edge of the area for Delot. He's always getting under it. It's an awkward one. I don't blame him for going for goal, because Leeds United left him a little bit of room there, but it's one of them. It always looks like you're going to slice it, which he does. He's leaning back. It's awkward. Maybe Michael Carrick said, could you just kept that alive, kept the attack going? Looking at goals conceded 90 plus minutes as well. Not good reading for Leeds United. Burnley, Liverpool, Newcastle, West Ham with 7. Leeds with 8.
Yeah, it's that moment of the game, of course. If you could add the FA Cup onto that as well, Lewis, it's 2 more. They conceded 2 in stoppage time from the 93rd minute onwards against West Ham. As I mentioned before, as I keep saying, they got through in the end, and there'll be a psychological advantage to that but the psychological disadvantage surely of conceding 2 in stoppage time and potentially doing it again here.
At the moment, the momentum is with the 10-man Manchester United. Ball from left to right. Misses Casemiro, picked up by Mbeumo. Body's flying into the box. So the Cameroonian cuts inside, trying to put a ball into the box. Maybe a little bit too predictable there, and then gives away a foul. Well played from Nonto to get back. As I say, very similar to Ahmad in the first half. I feel it's great defending from Leeds United, man, but I'm just feeling Mbeumo, go down the line because there's more space for you to. I know you want to cut inside and go for a shot or put the ball into the box, but that makes it easy for a defender. There was so much room, just fake to your left, go to your right and put a ball in the box.
Yeah, because if he does go to his right, as you say, if he gets that cross in, the defender's going to want to get in the way, and he's very, very rare that it would deflect away from goal. It would most likely go out for a throw, maybe even a corner. So yeah, I think you're right there. Go on your weaker foot just to try and win something.
Well, and as well, I would always say this when you see inverted wingers or inverted inside forwards, then the next time Mbeumo gets it, the defender has to respect that a little bit more, so it might open up for you to. The defender's got to go, well, the last time he went down the byline, I've got to, then you have a bit more space cutting inside. But we see it with the modern players, they always want to cut inside on the favoured boot. I don't blame it. Mbeumo's got a great shot curling and he scored a lot of goals for Brentford and for the Red Devils doing that. 2.5 minutes into the 7 minutes of stoppage time. Leeds have a throw-in on the left-hand side. It was a poor throw-in, cleared away by Yoro, but only as far as Ampadu, and they do play it back, and that means United aren't going to go further forward. Manchester United, that is. Bogle on the right hand side. Will we see late drama here? For example, Manchester United, if I do recall correctly, were 2-0 up against Fulham at Old Trafford, brought back to 2-2 by the Cottagers, and then a late goal in stoppage time from Benjamin Sesko got them all 3 points and a 3-2 victory. Poor pass back from Justin, but a poor clearance as well. Justin's not going to keep it in play. No, he does go out of play. Looking at Leeds' reigning fixtures, home to Wolves, away to Bournemouth. Again, the one that sticks out to me is that game against Spurs. At the moment, they're 6 points above them. Play devil's advocate, the Red Devils get a goal here, and it's 4 points above with the draw. That could be a massive 6-pointer. You wouldn't have said that at the start of the season, but it could be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yeah,
you're right. Only Burnley and Spurs have won less points in the previous 5 games than Leeds. They have both of those two to play, and West Ham in May, and then Wolves next as well. So big games, as you mentioned. I mean, 3 points is unexpected for Leeds this evening coming into the game. If they can get over the line, it doesn't put as much pressure on those games.
Long ball from right to left from Mbeumo into Shaw. Nice pass into Cunha, 1-2 with Casemiro. Ampadu does well, just get his body in the way of the former Wolves player. He's not happy with the referee. If I was his team, I'd be telling him, just keep quiet, you're on a yellow card. You've already got a silly one from simulation. You don't want to pick up another one and put us down to 9 men. 4 minutes of the 7 minutes of stoppage time have been played. We're halfway through that stoppage time minutes. Bruno Fernandes, the deepest player back, looking to get on the ball and put balls into the box, I can imagine. 1-2 with himself and Cunha. Out to Ugarte. The Red Devils are almost accepting that, look, we're very open defensively. If we lose a ball, we might concede a third, but we also might throw enough bodies forward to get a second. It's crucial time at the moment. It's crunch time at Old Trafford. Delors, not the greatest of passes out to Mbeumo on the right-hand side. Back to Yoro. Tries to take it past Nonto, he does. Ball into the box. It's a decent one to the back sticks to Casemiro. Floats one into the back sticks. Goalkeeper all over the place. Strong just has to put it out, and you can just see the nerves building for Leeds.
Cardallo under no real pressure there, Lewis, either. The flag's gone up anyway to save Leeds United's blushes, but it's brilliant from Casemiro. I mean, his performance in this game, from the first half to the second half, has been chalk and cheese. Granted, most of what he's done in the second half is just win headers, but his movement is brilliant. You know, he's playing for a side that have got one less man, and he's still finding space inside the area, and then the header right across the face of goal. He's in a really good position. There's just no one in there in a red shirt able to tap it in. As I mentioned, Cardallo sort of flapped it. It didn't really get to it. Casemiro ended up being offside anyway, but I think it's still good from the Brazilian trying to stretch things.
100%. Oh, I would say as well, I know he's Brazilian, and Brazilians, you have goalkeepers who used to take free kicks and penalties. I believe Sao Paulo, one of the goalkeepers, scored 100 plus goals because he took set pieces. So, but you feel like Casemiro, definitely in a younger youth level, definitely played up front, because you say he's got great movement as a midfielder. Leeds win the ball high up the field. Just over a minute of stoppage time to go. Nonto takes it down the byline. Delors, does he bring him down? No, he doesn't. Nonto's not happy about it. I thought it was a bit of a coming together legs. I thought it was clumsy from Delors, but a goal kick for Manchester United. Trying to play it from the back, very dangerous. Fernandes just going to boot it long. Looking for Casemiro. As Tom said, he's won so many headers. He wins another one there. Sesko nods it on to Mbermu. Less than a minute. Can the Red Devils create something to bring back from the dead? 2-0 down, a man down. Can they survive and pick up a massive draw? Fernandes, poor ball into the box from the skipper. Heads go up between Ugarte and Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin comes off second best there. I thought that was clumsy from Ugarte, jumping up in the air. Foul against Calvert-Lewin. Free kick coming up. This will be massive.
Yeah, that's a bit of column A, bit of column B, isn't it? That they're both having to go at each other. Neither win the ball, really, but I think it's just Calvert-Lewin's backing in. He's sort of...
He looks up a little bit.
Yeah, Ugarte's making a more natural movement towards the ball.
Lemens is going to go up here, so I think there'll be a goal here. Whether it's an equaliser or a third for Leeds United, I don't know.
Here we go.
Fernandes will swing this one in. It's floated. The goalkeeper comes to claim, punches it away, picked up by Delors. Ball will come back in from Fernandes, I can imagine. No, he swings it out to the right-hand side for Ugarte. He'll be the one to swing it in. Takes it a wicked deflection. Picked up by Longstaff. He'll boot it long. There won't be a goal, but there will be 3 points for Leeds United. Daniel Farke down to his knees. Celebrates. Big scream out loud. They deserve the 3 points on the performance, I won't lie. But Manchester United tried to fight back, but just too much in it and too good for Leeds United this evening. You can see what it means to the players. I can imagine those away fans at Old Trafford going absolutely berserk right now. But what a 3 points at Old Trafford regardless, and what a 3 points in their fight for survival. Now 6 points above 18th placed Spurs. Full time from Old Trafford. What a game, what a 90 minutes. A brace from Okafor has been so vital this evening. Full time, Manchester United 1, Leeds United 2.